Hey, welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
Oh, Tyler, just waiting for my wife and my child to go enjoy a beautiful day at a water park without me.
Ah, yes, without you. Perfect. It is like 135 degrees. That's like 6 degrees if you live in Europe. So it is very hot.
It sounds like something you'd want to go do because it's hot out, but no, I don't want to be in a water park.
Is it because you'd be swimming in pee or what?
Theoretically, I enjoy the idea of a water park. I like water slides, I like rides, I like amusement parks. I don't like people and I don't like the types of things I see, especially that happen in water parks. So that makes me less interested in being in a water park. Also, the idea that it's hot out, it's like, okay, well, that means I definitely have to be outside in the heat. I can go to an amusement park when it's not hot, but like, especially a water park, you've been to Magic Mountain with me. It sits on top of a hill, and there's no escape from the sun.
Well, the water's the escape from the sun.
No, 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 Tyler. Water is not escape. Well, my pale white skin does not escape the sun because I am in water. In fact, the sun then reflects off the water and I get additional burns. I'm just a human matchstick. I'm out in SPF 50. 30 minutes later, I have blisters on my body.
Okay, so you're a little baby. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we've talked about like when I went through football practice, I used to be the kid with a fucking umbrella. You know what your enemies are, and the sun is my enemy.
There is that guy who he has like a water reservoir or a lake that he entirely owns, and he just built his own water park on there, like his own little action park with like a bunch of dangerous water slides and stuff. That seems like the way to go. You don't have to deal with kids then. Just have your own water
Yeah.
park.
Look, theoretically, like if it was like nighttime and I could go on some water slides and there wasn't a bunch of people there, I'd be into
Yeah,
it.
let's
Like,
rent out a water park, the CQ water park
yeah,
Tuesday, where no one's at the water park. It probably doesn't cost that much to rent the whole place out.
sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Make it a collector's event because nothing goes better with games and old collectibles than water.
I do have a collectible I want to talk about, Johnny.
Oh, do you? What do you want to talk about?
Game Fan Magazine, Volume 3, Number 6. No, it's not. I clicked the wrong one. It's something like that. It's like Volume 6, Number 6.
Mm.
It's a $40 reproduction of an issue of Game Fan. Mind you, not the first issue of Game Fan. I couldn't immediately figure out why anyone would want a reproduction of this particular issue of Game Fan. I'm sure there's a reason. I just don't care about Game Fan.
Tell us what's on the cover because it's an important. Like when you see the cover, you'll know why it's important.
Oh, okay. So let's see. On the cover is Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, the first in-depth look. And a star flash in the corner. It does have 16 pages of codes. And then it's talking about Tenchu, Tekken 3, G Darius, Vigilante 8, Parasite Eve, Banjo-Kazooie. Forgot the dash, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, no. My point is, I don't actually understand. Like this, not like if you were just looking at this, what would even make this? Why would you ever reproduce this?
I don't know. So I don't know anything about Game Fan or Die Hard Game Fan. I was always, I'm the Next Generation guy. That was my favorite magazine. And I had some other shitty ones like Tips and Tricks and Nintendo Power. So I looked at issues of Game Fan magazine, and it's an old magazine. It's a rare magazine. Like not many issues of Game Fan are out there. You know, it's like $20 to $40 for issues. Why would you pay $40 for a fake issue? And no, my thing is not, oh, look at this. By the way, Jason of PlayStation Library is the one who pointed this out to us. My thing is not that this exists. 5 copies sold. 5 $40 reproduction magazines. What are we doing?
So the person who sells this, one, they should be removed from eBay because this is their whole business. They're called For the Fans Print. So sorry if you're a listener, but go fuck yourself for making these magazines. He reproduces all kinds of strategy guides and other things. Like you can go buy this stuff. Why are we reproducing this stuff?
He's also got obviously a Nintendo Power 1 reproduction, but it's $10 more than the other one because reproductions should have different value than the other. Oh, is this a hardcover Nintendo Power 1? guys. Come on.
Yeah, he's got a Chrono Trigger Premium Strategy Guide for 125, Symphony of the Night, and it's not listed like reproduction in the rest of his auctions. So I don't know, like this one Game Fan says fan made on that, but the rest of them I don't think say that kind of stuff.
On the cover they have like a not for resale banner on it. That's his way of saying they're not real, but very strange, I think.
This is not, also, like, if you're gonna put this banner on it, like, why did you put it, like, in the Castlevania one? It goes right through Castlevania, or the Symphony of the...
I mean, I'd rather have that than... So what he does is he puts, like, it says, like, not for resale in a gray banner right on the middle of the entire thing, which I think is preferable to having it, like, on the back or like, hidden away.
But I mean, you clearly have no qualms about making the reproduction.
I think he thinks he's doing it right. He's doing the right thing.
Is that what it is?
Selling copyrighted content reprinted for $50, but at least no one's gonna mistake these for something real, unless they think not for resale means, dude, I found the rare hardcover variant of Nintendo Power 1. What the fuck?
Hey, did you know you can get the NES Game Atlas reproduction in here too?
Cool.
$50.
Aren't these like? Why would I want like a $50 version of that? There's no way the NES Game Atlas is like a $50 mag, or like maybe a real one is $50, right?
Well, maybe this one. There's a Morrowind one.
I can get a real one for $15. Why am I buying a reproduction for $50?
There's a strategy guide for Blue Dragon, Blood Omen, and like a bunch of these are just like bad games where you could like. This would be if you went and spent like $100 on a lot of strategy guide. Half of these would be in there. Right. What are we doing?
Someone want to buy my $100 lot of strategy guides, by the way. I've got my NES Game Atlas. Do I need to get rid of my NES Game Atlas? Is it time?
No, that feels like childhood. Well, not your childhood because you're young, but
no, I read the Super Mario Brothers 3 strategy guide because I was playing NES at my friend's house as a kid.
Yeah, no, I loved those. Like the big guides they did, especially the black official guide. That one was like,
oh yeah, the Nintendo Power Players Guide. That thing's awesome.
Yeah. Don't buy these. Why do these exist? Because somebody's buying them. That's why.
There is like a certain kind of people, it's obviously not most people, who just, they need their shelf to be full of something. And it doesn't really matter what it is, so long as someone somewhere printed and bound it.
So look, that's what one of the things I want to talk about on the episode is the idea of that. But this isn't even that, because like a lot of times it needs to be hard to find. This stuff isn't hard to find. That's available. Like, and roughly, a lot of this is roughly the same price. You're paying a premium on this.
Johnny, it's for the fans. For the fans. I want to be clear. It's not like he has every issue of Game Fan magazine either. He has 2 issues of Game Fan. Apparently random issues.
Well, they must be the good ones then, for reasons I don't understand. Yeah. Hey, get your X-Wing Alliance and TIE Fighter strategy guides in hardcover.
Johnny. Where was I going from here?
I don't know. Sad into a place where you want to like turn off the lights and go cry in a room.
No, speaking of fake stuff, I get some cheap stuff on AliExpress. If I need a little doohickey, I'm not gonna spend the inflated Amazon.com price for it. I'll go straight to the source. Because Amazon is basically just AliExpress now. And one of the things it recently recommended, like in the top, AliExpress, if you go to their website, it's all sorts of pop-ups and recommended shit for you to search. It's the worst website in the world. It's Temu as a website. I don't know what Temu is, but I get the impression that they are the same thing. And it recommended I search for Pokemon cards real. And, you know, similar to how I can't afford an issue of Game Fan magazine, I can't afford Pokemon cards. So I searched for Pokemon cards real, and I found so many real Pokemon cards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They are bootleg Pokemon cards are like shockingly cheap. $5 will get you an entire booster box of, I don't know, Celebration, whatever people are buying. You can get a lot of fake Pokemon cards.
30th anniversary comes out next month, and then if it's celebrations, I think that was the 25th anniversary.
At least, at least there is a person who would like buy fake Magic cards and like play with them. Like I understand the reason for that. No one's like, oh, I really need to read Game Fan issue 6, volume 6.
No, proxies in Magic the Gathering are sometimes a badge of honor. Like, look, I play, and I didn't pay Wizards because fuck Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, is that how it is now?
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. And
people were really weird about it when I was playing Magic, but that was a long time ago.
Because it's again, I'm not into proxies either. If you're at your kitchen table, do what you want. But like, people like walk into shops now and they're just like all playing Commander because there are no rules. We used to be a society, Tyler.
Yeah, I was at a
society.
I was doing a puzzle hunt. It's a highbrow hobby where we do math problems together as a group. And yeah, people broke out the Commander and they were all just playing with fake cards, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be a society. You used to have to spend thousands of dollars on the cool cards.
Yep.
What the heck is this? What, we have an island that has Dark Ritual written on it? This is bullshit. Why did... Put some effort in, man.
I mean, I respect those more than like the heavily printed ones because it's just like, look, you're trying to do something. You're not really fooling yourself with this Dark Ritual. If you're just testing things out and you don't want to spend $200 on a card to know if it performs, I get it. But at the same time, gross.
Dark Ritual, famously an expensive Magic card. I actually, the only reason I use proxies in all my decks is because I want the consistent art in all my decks. I need to have the anime girls as all the art for every single card.
Yeah, if your island isn't an anime booby girl, then what are you even doing?
Johnny, what's this episode about?
You don't want to talk about it now. Tyler is really afraid of exposing who his waifu is, I think. Hey, before we get into the episode, I want to thank a couple new members for joining. It's always nice when they do, and we do a bad job of doing that. Investigate 311 joined, and Retro Bash. Also, Retro Bash, I'm looking at you on the Discord. It says you've been playing Forza Horizon 6 for 68 hours and 30 minutes straight. My man, go to bed. Take a break. Anyways, thank you guys for joining up. And now I think we can get into the episode, Tyler. We're so bad at saying thank you to people.
We're very grateful and humbled but that people have supported this podcast for so long.
Yes.
Johnny, I'm a book collector now.
Big book collector? Are comic book collector or book collector?
No, book.
Are they different?
I don't remember how I got. So I just watch a lot of collecting stuff. I forgot who asked. It might have been Reformat. Was asking for collecting documentaries because we were kind of dunking on Rarity and Nintendo Quest. And I'm sorry, I don't want to put Rarity on the tier of Nintendo Quest. Nintendo Quest is maybe the worst documentary I've seen in my life. But someone was asking for collecting documentary recommendations. And I have a couple that I really like. I think my favorite is Sour Grapes, which is a documentary about wine collectors. This is actually super relevant to what we're going to talk about this episode. Basically, out of touch wine collectors who are just, they buy like expired wine, fake wine, and it's all just like to pump up their own collection, to pump up their self-value and self-worth, even though they don't really care about wine or even know that they're buying fakes.
Drink your wine, people.
There's all these like, they recork wines, they print fake labels for wine. Wonderful documentary if you're into collectibles. And then the Booksellers from 2019. It's about collecting rare books and the people who sell rare books and how weird they are and how the rare book market is kind of a weird market. And I love those movies. And I must have been watching something like that because I watch a lot of collectibles content because, I like collectibles. And I got sucked into like the book rabbit hole. And now YouTube thinks that I am, I'm like a 25-year-old girl who reads Court of Thorn and Roses, and I want to buy all the collector's editions with the sprayed sides.
Sprayed edges, yeah.
If you guys aren't up to date with what books are now, like people aren't going to Barnes & Noble and buying Pride and Prejudice, I don't think. You go and there's just tables of smutty romance books, and they're all like hardcover fancy books. We don't do cheap books anymore. There are no cheap books. No. Books are like strictly a collectible now.
Yeah, they've been commodified the way like all limited edition video games have been commodified. They all are hardcovers. They all have like, man, covers are so homogenized now, but they're all like the same kind of artistic styling a lot of times.
It is.
A lot
There's
of the
this
same
weird.
fonts.
It's so weird. So there's this art style on the covers, and it looks like the fucking like corporate cartoon art where people have no faces and exaggerated features, and that's
Yeah.
what all the books look like now.
Yeah,
It's like they're selling you a corporate product. It's insane.
it's yeah, it's like mid-century modernistic art, like there's a lot of things going on, and like a lot of it looks like AI slop too. And that's not to say that that's not real art, but it is what AI is ingesting heavily now. So they're spitting out similar things. Yeah, it's all weird. All the edges are sprayed. I love a sprayed edge. It used to be so rare to have a book with a sprayed edge, and now if your book doesn't have a sprayed edge, and that means where the paper, when you open the book and you can see that paper edge. If that wasn't like, that's normally just like your white paper you see all the way around, three sides of the book, where it goes into the binding. That used to just be white. Now people then is like, oh, you got a solid color. Now they're doing patterns and prints. There used to be people on eBay who would do like special hand-drawn like pictures that you could only see if you like kind of spread the pages. Yeah, it's getting crazy. This is just the standard. It's not just Barnes and Noble. You go into Target, you pick up a book, like if you don't have like a sprayed edge, it's like, what are we even doing? This isn't for a real book collector. This is for one of those readers. Also, now books.
No, I see so many people, because I mean, like, the joke is like you can't read 1,000 books if you have 1,000 books. There's like just not enough time in your life. Similar to video games. Like you have 1,000 video games, like you didn't play all those video games. So it's just collectors. It is very similar to video games, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, collecting is the same across the board, right? And then the people who figure out that once people are collecting it, and this did it. I blame smutty. They're called romanices, right? For basically bringing this on. Sarah J. Maas, thanks for this. Her and her ilk. Not that they're bad authors or anything, but they've just made a type of book that got people reading, and then it became, book talk is a thing, and like book Instagram and all this stuff, like where they talk about the books they have and the collecting and how cool they are. It just became a network of collectors, people who wanted to own things and fit into a group. I'm not mad at the people. It's just a thing that has happened. They became collectors first, maybe readers second.
We need to encourage this, because this is the only category that I know of where it's like it's a real collecting category, books, not to kind of diss on any collecting categories, that is by far mostly women.
Yeah.
That is not the case in cards and video games and almost anything I could think of. We need to encourage people having big shelves full of stupid shit they don't need. Come on, let's collect.
My
guys.
wife has an office full of books. She's in her book clubs, and they talk about books. Look, a lot of it is, again, predicated around book clubs and like Instagram and doing all the things. But like they get around, they sit around, they drink some wine and hang out and talk and have a good time. Great. And then it became a hobby too, just to collect and own things. We're okay with that. Please keep doing it. Show me your cool shelf full of books. I like a library.
So
looks nice.
There's a difference between like a book collector who's like, I'm buying poetry books from the 1800s, and these like romance collectors, like whatever, they'll buy like horror and stuff, I'm sure, but they're buying basically $20 to $40 books, and I'm just looking at their shelf and being like, man, like you basically just bought everything, and it was all kind of $20, and that does seem nice. Like they didn't have like there's no Snow Bros of romantasy that they had to go out and get. They could just keep collecting books for a reasonable price forever.
So there are books that are expensive, and they get expensive. The problem with books, unlike games, is like reprinting books is far more common than it is games. So like the minute it goes out of print, if people still want it, they just generate another print. That can be with a new cover. That can now be with sprayed edges, So they'll just keep turning out books. Books just stay in print, and so you can get a lot of covers. So you could just have a library full of like 2 or 3 different books, if it's an old enough, popular enough book. But the originals still do retain some value. So like original Court of Thorn and Roses and stuff, that like a first print, first edition of that is still expensive.
What? Okay, hold on. That's books 1 through 4. All right, it's like, is it $200? All right.
Yeah, I mean that's expensive if like your standard is the things I'm normally buying are $25, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, this one. Why is this one 200, 250? You know, and you can get them signed and stuff, and people go on. There's a lot of this in horror collecting too. This is just it's moving into all realms of book. It started in romantasy, but it's like really kind of permeating. But as you were saying, this is not the same as like book collectors who have like, you know, a manuscript from 1638, you know, sitting, you know, in a hermetically sealed room that, you know, they don't want anyone to go into. This is like, I'm going to post an Instagram video or I'm going to get on YouTube and have my wall behind me. These are not the same thing.
They all have their wall behind them. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what level. There's like I think it's just, again, parallels to video games. They're the people who are so excited about reading and clearly look down upon people who have all these books they don't read. Like, they very clearly have like a small curated shelf and they're always talking about what they're actually reading. And then there's the people who have the entire room full of books that they obviously haven't read, and they make fun of the fact that they haven't read that. And then there's the probably old British man sitting in like the old library full of old books, and all he talks about is he'll talk about like why each book is important by whatever author and whatever printing and whatever binder, and it always comes down to the value. And like when they're talking about things, they'll segment them by value. Like, oh, you want to collect books? Well, how much money do you have to spend? If you have $300, you could buy something like this. If you have $10,000, you could buy something like this. And it's, oh, like this is how Reddit feels about the graded game people. But like there's no like they obviously care about they have so much knowledge about these stupid old fucking books, but at the end of the day everything just comes down to a price tag, even in their personal collections.
It's an interesting dichotomy how it has happened though, because I think you described it correctly. It used to be like, and there are some YouTube channels and stuff that I've watched about rare books because I like books. But it was always like some old white guy, and usually in the UK, sitting in a room, you know, with his lone chair, some lone brown leather chair, sitting by a small table with just an absolute wall of like ancient looking manuscripts behind him or big leather bound copies. And now then you go to like modern book collecting and it's all like happy girls talking about their book haul. And it is a very funny that it's splitting like this.
Congratulations to girls in their 20s for taking over this shitty hobby from old Englishmen.
It is kind of funny, right? Like when you put it in these kind of terms, it is funny that they're just like, no, this is our hobby now, and we don't care about your $10,000 manuscripts. We want these books. See how nice the edges are? Look how cool these look on our shelves.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet is not smutty enough for me. I don't care about that $3 million complete works of William Shakespeare.
Yeah. Yeah, and could you like not have the spine out? Could you turn it around so I could see those sprayed edges?
Why we do
Thanks.
To be clear, so they spray the edges, meaning like they'll have like a little painted design on the actual pages, the opposite side of the binding of the book, and people put them on their shelves backwards so you can't tell what the book is.
Yeah. But it looks so pretty.
The idea of putting something on my shelf backwards, that's like hanging a flag upside down. That's like something is wrong. It's like, oh, this game is missing a manual, or this game is sun faded and needs to be upgraded. It is not like, oh, I'm going to display this pages side out.
Well, Tyler, you aren't in their hobby. You can't tell them what to do.
Johnny, the thing that I think resonated most with me about YouTube showing me all these old bookmen, especially the old British guys, is I think NES is just the fucking greatest in every way. Have you listened to 300 episodes of the Collector's Quest podcast? Yeah, we like the NES on this podcast. If for its historical relevance, I love the games. It's my maybe my favorite era of gaming. I thought I might like the 90s more, late 90s computer games. But like in terms of historical importance and everything, NES is it. It's got like the contents of the boxes, the size of the boxes, the chunkiness of the cartridges. everything about NES is perfect. And you talk to someone 15 years younger than us and they're like, NES is bullshit. Let me show you my PS2 games. And they don't care at all. And looking at these old British bookmen, they're talking about like, oh, this is William Faulkner's fucking whatever that no one cares about except us old bookmen. And I'm just like, I don't care. I like Brandon Sanderson and Stephen King because I have no taste in books. And they probably look down on me. And I'm realizing like, oh shit, I'm the old man of video games talking about fucking like Ultima and Wizardry and the shit that like is important, but also like no one cares. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, there is a lot of parallel here. Only like this very small cabal of like old out of touch British people
White dudes
are going to care about this
old,
stuff.
old out of touch white guys
Yeah.
like this stuff. And the younger generation, a more culturally diverse population is entering, and they don't collect the same things you do, Tyler. You're out of touch.
I'm just telling, you got to play like Ultima 4. It's a cool game.
You don't have to play Ultima 4 at all.
You really don't.
You can skip it. I promise.
Play Morrowind. Morrowind's a cool game.
Morrowind is a cool game, but you can probably skip it.
All right, that was my adventure in books.
You did it. You collected. You went down the rabbit hole, and then you put your head in, and you did not like what you saw.
I like seeing people excited about their stuff, and like obviously the younger generation is more excited about their stuff, and just like if you're talking about the price and it's like the main, like that's like the hook, that's the exciting thing for you to talk about. It's like, I don't care. I could look at expensive things anywhere. I don't know. I could look at someone's bank account balance. It just says $10 million. That doesn't excite me. I want someone who's excited to talk about the thing for what it is, not the value it represents.
Well, that's part of the problem. I think that gets us next to our episode, Tyler. That's, people have entered the hobby, and it feels less about the love of the hobby and more about the money.
That was a sick transition, though, right?
Yeah, it was. It was very good.
Just pointing it out.
I think you can be interested in the money of a thing. I think you can be one of these money collectors, and I think you can still like games, but I think your order of operations might not be compatible with mine. Meaning, you think about the money first, the game second. I think about the game first and the money second.
I think you went on a rant with this when you were on the Get the Greg Games podcast. I'm sorry if that podcast has a real name. I know that there's like the Cheat Code Weekly and all this stuff, and Henry's a part of the show. Everything with Greg, I'm just like, it's the Get the Greg Games show.
No, it's Cheat Code Weekly with Henry.
It would be like if it's like calling Collector's Quest podcast the Johnny podcast. I feel like, oh man, I'm marginalizing half the podcasting.
Yeah, please don't do that. It's Cheat Code Weekly. Okay. And give yourself more credit. This might be the Tyler podcast now. Tyler, anyways, that's I think what is kind of my issue. Like you said, I've already ranted about this. I probably rant about it all the time, but I'm not mad at people for being interested in the value. I'm not mad at people being in the hobby because they like games and they also like money. This is a thing that people do all the time. They're like, oh, I kind of like this thing. And then they see a window in, they're like, oh, I like this thing. And it can also make money. And I know how to make money. So yeah, I can justify buying these things as long as I'm keeping it about the money.
I mean, I think as many people like a thing and convince themselves that it can be a good store of value, kind of stereotypical joke would be like, oh yeah, my collectibles are my retirement. Yes, all these magic cards, I'm going to retire off these magic cards. I'll definitely know the value of a fucking magic card in 40 years. That's a stable thing that we can depend on.
Yeah, I mean, we used to famously say like, this is not an investment, right? But I think the hobby has turned in such a way where we can shout that and people don't believe us anymore, Tyler.
What do you mean? What? You can definitely say, oh, it's not an investment. People would be like, fuck yeah, play your games. What are you talking about?
No. I think Reddit still agrees with us, but I think the people who are mainly about collecting games now, it used to be that we were like, hey, don't look at this as an investment, just like being as your hobby. But now I think because the price has gone up enough and there unfortunately is enough happening in the collector's space, influence and everything, around it that people have kind of changed their mind. They're like, well, I think it is kind of an investment too, right? Like, I think that has become the sentiment. You disagree with that?
I don't know what you mean. So for you always say like it's not Reddit, it's collectors. The majority of
Yeah.
collectors are like the people on Reddit and YouTube.
You think the majority of collectors are on Reddit and YouTube?
Yes. I think that's the sentiment they have. And I don't think that the stereotype of like the whiny Redditor is the average collector, but like
No.
the average collector collects normal stuff. The average collector is out there at Goodwill buying PS3 games.
I don't, but we're not talking to the average collector. We're talking to the people who listen to this show.
But you were saying like, oh, more people are saying like, oh, this is an investment. I don't think people buying like limited run games really.
Well, I'm saying the people we talk to, right? Like we used to say that on this podcast to the people who listen to that podcast, like, hey, don't treat this like an investment. Now I think the people who listen to this podcast and the people we talk to might balk a little bit at that idea. We have our hardcores that are never going anywhere and are always going to hate this. But I think we have more people who've bought into sealed games and just the idea that some of this is worth money and they buy it as something they know they can flip if they need to. I think some of the sentiment around that has changed.
Are you saying that people don't listen to me, Johnny? I am the most important collector because I'm me. And I'm the one who's always like, hey, your kids don't care about physical media. They're not growing up in the same world and all this is going to zero.
All that is true. All these things can be true and exist in exactly the same space. It's going to be a little while till you get to be right, though. Because we still have...
Eventually, in 500 years, no one will care about Spider-Man. Eventually, I'll be right and everything will have gone to zero.
Disagree about Spider-Man stuff. That's why
we've already debated this.
Dave, look, everybody's like, superhero movies suck. They're all in the tank. No one wants a superhero movie. Look what happened to Supergirl. They release fucking Spider-Man. It makes $1 billion in 3 days and topples The Odyssey as the #1 movie. Like in 3 fucking days, Tyler.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about how The Odyssey is a masterpiece shot on 70mm film in IMAX. What a beautiful movie. And I enjoyed it. To be clear, I'd have no problems with it. I like Christopher Nolan. They're just like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Fucking Spider-Man comes out. Just, that's $1 billion instantly.
In 500 years, no one will care about Avatar. And that made $1 billion.
Yes. Look, I'm not, well, that was also at a different time for movies and the money there. But I'm just saying, Spider-Man, people keep trying to take away Spider-Man's relevancy. I don't know if that's going to be true. It depends how long human history lasts and like what is pop culture. Like we look at retreading things. You just baiting me.
I wasn't trying to do this.
You were totally trying to bait me. Look, we look back at Shakespeare and we're like, oh, look at all these old texts and stuff. And they're like, we treat them like, they're like, oh, well, it's literature. Bro, back in the day, it was pop culture. So what is the poppiest of pop culture right now? It's fucking Spider-Man. It's going to be Spider-Man. Sorry. As a guy whose favorite superhero is Batman, Spider-Man coming in around 2nd or 3rd. He flip-flops. But yeah, the Spider-Man important. Probably going to be talked about. If we're still doing, if humans are still existing in a way that we find recognizable, then Spider-Man will be talked about in some arenas. I'm not saying he's going to be a popular icon, but the world has changed. Also, technology has changed and old information is less lost and IPs are more important than they've ever been. And all we do is recycle ideas now.
I mean, the thought experiment breaks down because, yeah, you're right. Humanity won't be anywhere in 500 years. Either we will have blown ourselves up or we'll all be hooked up to the dopamine machines that all of the dystopian novels warned us not to hook ourselves up to.
Yeah.
And none of this will matter.
It is my favorite meme. They're like, you know that these were warnings, not playbooks, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Tyler, you don't like the rich and you would like to eat them. Is that a fair statement?
Sure. We can eat the rich. That's fine.
Sure. And you have strong feelings about some collector bros that are also in the hobby, influencing the hobby. Yeah.
I don't have the strongest feelings because I don't think they do. Johnny, all right, let's talk. We were talking before the show. I don't think they do have a lot of influence because I was on AJ Scaramucci's, I wasn't on the podcast. I was on the YouTube site for AJ Scaramucci's podcast, who is Treasure Trove, the guy who bought the $3 million Super Mario Brothers. Apparently he's all over Instagram. Every time he buys something, he's like, I spent $1 million on this jersey from Joe Montana.
Did he just buy the $3 million Super Bowl Joe Montana jersey? Because there was just a Joe Montana jersey that sold for like $3 million. So
yeah.
Is that him, the Super Bowl jersey? Him too? Okay. Yep. All right.
And his podcast has like 8,000 views. And like, to be clear, I feel like the people on his podcast are famous kind of influencer people, like Logan Paul and the finance guy. I don't remember, the Graham Stephan, Palmer Luckey. Like these are like known names in the social media space, and like his podcasts get like 2,000 views. So no one cares. People, it turns out in every time is considered hard economic times. So I don't like saying hard economic times. People don't really care about rich people saying, hey, look at all this shit I have that you don't have.
Yeah. I mean, also when you buy something that expensive, the people you can talk to that will be interested in that for any kind of sustained period is pretty small, because it's completely out of touch. It's a lot different than buying, a Rule of Rose.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that this is a reason that this stuff won't have value, because like the rich people do need to have their own tier of collectibles where they can brag to each other like, oh, I've got this so-and-so art and so one of a kind collectible. But like, yeah, again, look at these numbers on this podcast: 1,000 views, 2,000 views. Like some of the old, like a 2-month-old video has less than 3,000 views. Cause yeah, I think most of it is like people looking through it like it's a zoo and like, oh, what are these weird rich people talking about? And probably a very small number of them are people actually interested in the multi-million-dollar collectible space. And then we've got one of the only people that comes up, like normal people that comes up when you search for these people. Get the Greg Games, our favorite regular guy in Canada who rubs shoulders with real rich people.
Yeah.
But he enriches our lives. So isn't that the richest thing of all?
Yeah. It's the friends we made along the way and all that. Thanks. So how do you feel in general though about let's say you're Logan Pauls of the world trying to influence collecting?
How do I feel in general about it?
Yeah. Or specifically. How do you feel specifically? You're like, I don't like it in general. No, be specific, please.
I mean, I don't understand why people care. Like, I think that his big thing was the Pokemon Illustrator, which obviously, like, he bought multiple of them, I think, right?
I don't know if he bought multiple. He had the best one. He did the whole fractional share thing.
And it wasn't even the best. Like, maybe it was the highest graded one, but like something about it was fucked up. It had like
we weren't sure if that. I think we thought it was like regraded to a higher grade, which made us think that maybe the grade was paid for, which is like a big conspiracy in PSA that things can be. I don't think that's true, but also I never underestimate what money can do. So
to be clear, the grade doesn't have to be paid for. It's a much better story for PSA to be like, oh, we got the perfect grade illustrator, everybody, headlines. Yeah. Like, you don't have to, there doesn't have to be some secret under the table thing for them to want to have a big headline with Logan Paul.
This is also true. But, everything's a conspiracy, everything's money laundering. These are the two things that Reddit has told me.
Whatever goes on with these guys, these 2,000 people watching this fucking podcast, it doesn't affect anything. We always say this, like, the reason Rule of Rose is expensive is because you guys are all buying Rule of Rose. It's nothing to do with rich people bringing up the top of the market. You guys are bringing up the bottom of the market, which is pushing the rich people even higher into the market.
Yeah. I mean, and part of this is psychology. I think when somebody spends this much money on something like the $3 million Mario, it legitimizes the money that you've spent. So psychologically, you feel safer because you start to believe, these are actually investments. These become justifications for you to go ahead and spend more. And in that way, I don't think it really affects the prices. I think it affects the mindset of the people. and then the bottom actually brings the top up, which is ridiculous, but is I think how it works.
That drives me crazy. I have to like stop myself from, I don't know how to word this, like thinking these objects have real value. Because but obviously between like 2019 and 2023, we started seeing a bunch of things just sell for over $10,000 that would never have hit those prices before.
Tecmo Bowl, our favorite example.
Well, okay, there's the ridiculous ones, but not even the ridiculous ones. Just like I don't know, like a copy of like Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden 3 selling for like $10,000 or $20,000, and like seeing repeated sales of that ridiculous thing. It's like, should I spend like now $2,000 on like a slightly worse grade one? Because like obviously the higher one has so much more value. I mean, I recognize when I am making that argument to myself, and I try to stop it, because I realize there is no objective price of any collectible, but I try to determine what I would pay for something in a vacuum, rather than its entire price history. And I realize that's impossible. The price history is always going to affect what I'm willing to pay for something. But a lot of the times, especially these days, the price that I would come up with for something is way lower than the price it's currently selling for. And so, I avoid things like Pokemon games and like high-end sealed games and things like that.
I don't think your price is even necessarily lower. Sometimes you come and tell me, you're like, oh, I'd pay that much for it. And I'm like, you would? And then like you're either right on or like you come in low, but I'm all like, I don't think you always come in low. I think sometimes.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
Literally no one in the world wants to hear what people think are underpriced. But like, yeah, Matt Mario is underpriced. Fucking Sealed Zelda, Charmander Zelda, underpriced. Like some of the stuff, obviously, I think is, and like I own it, so like, who cares what I have to say? But like, yeah, obviously, I think some things are underpriced too, as well as overpriced.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I think Charmander Zelda, not that I'm trying to pump up something I don't own, makes me sad. But yeah, I think people have not fully appreciated that on a price level yet.
There's one. Did you see? There's one
Fake?
on Yahoo right now. I don't know if it's fake. I thought it was fake originally, and now I don't know. Maybe they just placed the sticker poorly.
What is it currently at? Do you know?
Did
you look?
Did it end? It's currently at $40.
Oh my god! Like, do you just YOLO $100 on that just cause?
Maybe I have a $60 bid on it just in case, because I want a better picture of a fake if it is a fake.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's in the it's in a lot, but it's in the title of the lot. So
Well, YOLO that thing up to 120. If you get it, then you can decide which copy you want. I'll take the worst one.
I think at least two people are gonna roll the dice on this one. It looks good.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. When does it end? How sad am I?
18 hours.
Oh yeah, you got a YOLO on that one.
See, this would stress me out if I didn't have one. I'd be like, oh, do I just like waste $1,000 maybe if if this ends up being fake?
What mental gymnastics do you think I'm going through? Because I was like, well, Tyler said it's fake, so I'm not going to worry about it. Then you're like, I don't know. And now my brain is going, oh God, man, what do I do? Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for launching.
I don't know, like
psychological journey.
You can't see the date, the date code on the disc because it's too blurry of a picture. I don't know.
Right, well, you guys will soon find out if we rolled the dice and won. Woo!
I mean, it's just so suspicious. Like, why would you put Charmander Zelda in a lot? It's a loose disc Famicom lot. Why would you put it with all these other junk games, but then know to put it in the title? Like,
I don't know. It is very suspicious, but also I can't fully understand. I understand the mind of Japanese listings. It's like when I see bullshit in US listings, I know what the bullshit is. But because I'm not as culturally aware of what's going on over there, it's my bullshit radar I can't trust as much. There are some things that are always just bullshit, and you should always be wary. But again, I don't know what I don't know, so it gives me paralysis on decision making.
Have we talked about the increase in like Japanese bootleg stuff? Like recently, past couple of years, because like there's a lot more fake sealed games, fake unopened games.
Oh, we did, because I think you talked about how you got one, didn't you? Didn't
Yeah,
you
I've got a
discover it?
fake Biohazard on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like they faked the sticker and they didn't do a great job, but you can only tell they did a really bad job when you start comparing it to a real one because they clearly didn't have a real one in hand and they faked it based on a different Resident Evil game, which I didn't notice at the time. But yeah, they're putting some effort into making fakes here.
Interesting.
And you know what? I bet there's a lot of games that VGA does not know are fake. Because if I can spot fake things through like VGA cases, like the one I'm thinking of recently was they graded the fucking like PC Eworks Rondo of Blood, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
these are real games with just like fake seals, and they're even reproing stickers. It's crazy. Anyway, be very careful buying stuff from Japan. It is not just a place to buy cheap games anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, as hobbies grow and the more money that goes into them, the more bad actors will also enter to make money.
It's true.
It's just the reality of hobbies. Sorry, guys. So let's talk about collectibles as an investment. I don't look at my collectibles as an investment. I know you don't either, but we can talk about how people got there.
How people got there? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, like how the decisions are made. Like, again, we talked about the minute somebody else spends $3 million on a game, it then rises to the floor. It legitimizes the idea that what you're doing is okay. You know, you're like, oh, if I spend, because look, people will pay big money for this and this could go up in value. You start talking yourself into these things. Also, I think when, like, we talk about the rich people, right? And how they got here. So like, let's use Logan Paul. And I'm not going to say this is exactly right or anything. This is not making claims about Logan Paul, but we can say somebody like him. Someone who knows a little bit about Pokemon or even a lot about Pokemon. And they're like, oh, I love Pokemon. You know what? I have money. Some of these cards like are kind of worth money. I guess I could put my money, like they're just not worth money. It's fine if I take some of my money from over here and put it into this because my money retains value. Now you start to, instead of being like, I just want to buy these and enjoy these, you're like, I bought these and I like these and I'm going to use them or play them and I just like seeing around. The minute you make the decision, you're like, well, I can spend more money on this because it is worth money. Then the idea of the investment comes along. You're like, well, you know, it's not like when I take a trip. It's not like when I'm not going to Europe. You know, I'm not taking a European vacation, which is going to cost me $15,000. And what is my return? Some memories with my family. Who wants those? I don't want that. I can't sell that later. But if I buy a $15,000 video game, man, I like, let's say everything goes bad. What do I get? $10,000 out of it? I'm still up. Well, I'm not up, but I'm still okay. Like I didn't lose all of my money. So this idea, you know, because people are okay with the idea of investments going up and going down, that there is a value that spikes and valleys, or peaks and valleys happen in investment. People, the minute the idea of an investment comes on, our brain has been tricked by all of our education, everything that has happened, that you say values go up and down and I'm okay with that.
So I have definitely overspent for, I don't know, decades. Not even thinking of it as an investment, but thinking of it as an almost net zero transaction every time I spend money on a video game. Because if I buy that copy of Castlevania, it's a nice hang tab Castlevania for $500. In my mind, I am down $500 and up something that is worth $500. And so that it doesn't feel like I'm financially spending money. Because I'm always like, oh, I could always sell it. Do I sell it? No, I never sell fucking anything.
But that's the idea of an investment. That's exactly what an investment is.
But no, because some people don't say like gold isn't an investment; it's a store of value. And I don't like financializing things I own like this is really strange. But I get that it's a collecting category. I see it as like this is a terrible analogy, but it's like a second bank account. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have that money anymore, but all this money is just sitting in the collectibles now.
Right. It is. It's a secondary bank, like you said. I could withdraw from it if I needed. It wasn't just money that went to zero. It's not eating at a nice restaurant where you consume and it's gone. So the line is consumption, collecting, investing. So that's like how the train usually means. Because if you just go buy a video game, Tyler, like you go buy a modern video game that you're just gonna play and it's not worth anything, you're like, oh, it's consumption. Doesn't matter. But then you're like, well, it's gonna have value later, and it's not zero. Then it's collecting. And then if the minute you're like, well, and it's probably gonna go up so I can make money, then it shifts into totally an investment category thing. And this is the problem. As your hobby goes through this cycle of consumption, collecting, and investing, as people start to see this, even if they haven't put the words on it, as they start to intellectualize it, then their brain is being tricked. You know, you're like, okay, I'm not even putting the words on it, but my brain is tricked that this is an okay cycle and it will encourage you to spend more because you feel safer with what you're doing. Now, is some of that right? Some of it wrong? Sure, you can sell your collectibles, but there is this thing happening in your brain that is conditioning you to make that feel better. And then when you put all the other effects that are working upon you, you know, again, rich people in the hobby legitimizing it, some other things we'll talk about. You know, your brain is a really efficient tool at making you feel okay and wanting dopamine. Collecting is dangerous, and you know, and that's why it always falls into the addictive behavior categories, because you know, it does the dopamine thing quite well.
It does, and you'll never have enough, Johnny.
You will never have enough. And when you start to excuse your behaviors because of things like, well, it's a net zero and it's a second bank account. Like, listen to that language. That's crazy talk, really, because we know we're going to die. And like, if we needed to get if your house floods tomorrow and you need money for the repairs, how well equipped are you to get money out of it tomorrow so you can start paying a contractor to fix your house?
Well, not very well, because all my video games just flooded, Johnny. That was my money right there.
Yeah. Whoops. Well, best case scenario, we'll say the basement flooded, but you're a person who kept them in an office upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. But you got to fix your basement.
So it's a pain in the ass, especially, you know, kind of depending on what level of stuff you collect. If you collect Nintendo Wii games, you could have the greatest Wii collection in the world. You could have 7 full Wii sets worldwide, but individually, like, selling a bunch of Wii shit is really different than being like, all right, let me offload this sealed Dragon Warrior or whatever, just one thing, and then it's done. But in that sense, I think that these, like, the investor bros, I don't know what we're calling them, that's kind of like the end game of not wanting to deal with selling a bunch of stupid little bullshit. Like, we have thousands and thousands of video games. Selling it would be more than a full-time job. But if you own one copy of a $3 million Super Mario Brothers, when it comes time to cash that out, you know, it's a process because you got to go on the advertising tour, but it's just one thing to deal with at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it is always going to be a better investment to have the one good thing than to have these are the 27 most uncommon Super Nintendo games that people don't appreciate the rarity of, and they're only $45 now, but I think they're going to be over 100 in 10 years. Like, that stuff is never going to be a good investment, just in terms of like the time and mental effort and storage and all that stuff that goes into it.
Yeah. It's again, you should have a small curated collection of valuable things. That's a better collection than what we're doing now. If you just enjoy games,
we did so bad at that.
Hey guys, listen to us. We're experts in collecting. We've done it wrong forever. We have 2 diametrically opposing ideas working on our audience here. Anyways,
so
Tyler,
Johnny, I know that's like the better way to collect, quote unquote.
Better if it's an investment, Tyler, but not better if you just like your things.
It's probably better financially if it is an investment. You're right. If it goes down in value, then you're stuck with a bunch of stuff you paid too much money for. But also, I have a lot of games that I love. They're like $40 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'll enjoy in how much I'm kind of willing to value a video game at. Like, there's a lot of stuff between like say $100 and $1,000 that I think is really cool, and I like feel like it has value and it will hold value or something like that. You know, I've got like a sealed Quake, and I feel like I'll probably always be able to sell that between $100 and $1,000, kind of no matter what. But when you try to keep consolidating the value, then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, like this entire shelf now is compressed down into say, a sealed Dragon Warrior 4 or something. What's that? Is that a $10,000 game? And then all of a sudden I'm like, I go back to the calculus of like, in my head, it is objectively not worth this much to have like some plastic around a copy of Dragon Warrior 4, but to be the collectible investor guy, you need to be buying the high-end stuff where the value doesn't make sense. Like, if you're investing in collectibles, you have to be overpaying and paying prices that don't make sense to eventually make money. The only way you're going to make money is if you did something that seemed really stupid 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's every time that we've bought something and people went, "Oh, I bought a nice copy of that," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you had to pay out for it." It's like, I did, and then like 5 years later, they're like, "Oh my god, it doubled in price." Man, you went from being an idiot to being a genius. This is my whole collecting journey, right? People like look at it like, "Oh my god, people wish they could pay those prices now." Like I just had a friend tell me that. It's like, that's true, but at the time I was a fucking idiot. I'm still an idiot, but at the time people were like, I can't believe you would pay that much for that game. And now it's like, oh, you're a genius. Like, man, this is an emotional roller coaster, guys. Thanks for this.
And that's half of what the investor bros do. So half of what they do is like, I'm willing to spend $100,000 on this graded Dragon Ball Z manga or whatever because I think like this sale, like it will generate headlines, it will kickstart the market, and me being dumb today will seem smart tomorrow. But then the other half of what they do is that they're picking something they could sell a story with, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not just picking those 17 rarest Super Nintendo games and being like, eventually the market will figure out that these are rare and they will go up in value. They are doing podcast tours. They are bringing Pokemon cards to WrestleMania. You don't invest in collectibles by just buying something and hoping something happens. Like these guys, as much as like it annoys you to see it, it is annoying to see someone obviously pumping their investment on like a fucking podcast, which is why no one listens to these fucking podcasts. But that's what they're doing because that's the investment part. They are putting in the work. It is not just a magic thing that goes up like the S&P 500.
Yeah. Line does not go up just because it's going to go up. It requires force. So, if you think of video games as a flat line, that will probably only tumble down as people become less interested. Interest is what makes the line move up, right? So they are enacting force against a line that is normally destined to move down. They must push against it to make it interesting, to make people see it, or else it would just, left to its own devices, it would be worthless over a long enough timeline. So like back to like the Logan Paul stuff. So this guy who like maybe he liked Pokemon cards. So again, he knows a little something about it. He can put his money into it. He can come and show it off. And then, like you said, every time he goes to WrestleMania, he feels probably pretty good saying like, I've got the best thing. I can show everybody. But he also knows that it's worth money. And every time he does this, he can go out and it's marketing, right? He gets to market it. But he also gets the dopamine from having the best thing. And then he gets the dopamine from selling the best thing. And he can forever say he had the best thing. So that's pretty much how I think the difference, like when it's a big time investor, like what is happening is they are a little more divorced from the item, because I come in with a bunch of dumb nostalgia. And I've put too much stock in the nostalgia and less stock in the price. Their order of operations are different. They like the thing, but they put more importance on the money than the object itself. I have so many games, Tyler, that I think I have overspent on, and I'm not even mad about it. Like a lot of my Halloween stuff, when I go find some obscure thing and somebody's got it like priced at $100 because they have no idea what to price it at, Tyler, because there's only like no one's interested and there's not any on the market. So they just put it up on $100 and I'm the idiot who pays $100. I'm still at home thinking like, oh, look at this cool thing that I bought. And they're just like, thank God I got $100 for that. You know, everybody wins, I guess, except me when I die and my son has to sell all this stuff.
Yeah, you got to get rid of it quick.
I know. It's very important, again, as we go from that consumption to collecting to investing, as we move through that continuum. How do we legitimize what that is? You have to use language. And again, you have to go on podcasts, you have to talk about it, you have to pump it, but you start to use the language around investing that makes people believe that it's real. So you start to apply financial language to this hobby and to any hobby. And you can watch this through any hobby. Like it's just stuff you like. And then all of a sudden, the minute you start people talking about ROIs and, you know, what the price curve is, what does the graph look like? The minute they start to put any of these things that you wouldn't normally apply to a hobby, it now seems very normal, especially for video game collectors. But this is like usually financial language. The minute that starts happening, your brain starts to be like, yeah, this is legitimate. This is fine. I'm okay with this. Your brain starts to fill in the holes there, and you're just like, yeah, this is an investment. I feel okay with that.
You say it's common in video games and that it's all turned to this. I think our hobby is doing just fine compared to like trading cards and entire communities and YouTube channels built around investing in them.
Look, video games still relatively small potatoes, still relatively still inundated by people who just love video games, which is a great place to be in, whose order of operation is still love games, and they might also be valuable, rather than these are valuable, or this is valuable, but I like games so I can make money. You know, I agree with that. Like video games, we talk about it all the time. Small potatoes. You look at Pokemon cards and you're just like, whatever's happening in video games is just fine. Look at sports cards. That just started as people who liked baseball cards, and now sports cards. What a fucking wild hobby to be in. Can you imagine spending that much on like a hobby box with like 2 cards in it, hoping to hit like a Shohei Ohtani rookie? It's madness over there. Like, oh, I got the double refractor signed Shohei Ohtani, or the double patch. Like, this is language that I don't even understand.
I feel like every like crazy expensive sports card that I see hyped, because like every sports card is worthless. It's just like I could print a sports card on my printer at home and be like, oh, it's a 1-of-1. But it's always like fucking Ken Golden talking about like, oh, this Kobe Bryant autograph with a patch from this set is definitely worth $3 million. And I don't know why he has so much influence and why people care about certain cards over others.
I don't.
I've got so many 1-of-1 cards. I mean, I have wrestling cards, but like, who fucking cares? Yeah, I've got a Big Show 1-of-1. Who fucking cares?
I've got a buddy named Gary who loves wrestling cards. He cares. He would love a Big Show #1.
Oh my god.
If you need to move a Big Show #1, you let
there's
me know.
There's no I guess the market for that card would be what other 1-of-1s in the set go for, but like. Anyway, a 1-of-1 Big Show looks like you can get, depending on the card, maybe $200 to $500. Just so you guys know, that's the market for 1-of-1 Big Show cards.
You did it. So back to podcast bros and big finance guys sitting on collectibles. Here's another tactic used to validate these things as an investment. Again, you don't have to apply this to video games. You can apply this to any hobby. The minute a price goes up on things, or they can show that it moved up, or the next person came in and spent more, a line go up validates all of their arguments, and it makes other collectors in that hobby feel okay about spending money and looking more at the hobby like it can be an investment because line went up. They don't show you all the examples where the line went down or didn't move or no one cared. They don't show you the Tecmo Bowls that fell into an absolute fucking hole, the chasm, that they dropped off into. They will highlight the things that went up as to try and validate their ideas and give you proof that they were right.
Johnny, I feel like Pokemon cards They're going up, by the way, or they're going down. You said recently,
Down.
but
Yeah, down recently. 30. It's the last couple of sets were like really medium sets in between the 30th anniversary, which will probably be a banger, but they're going to super print it. So who knows? Who knows what's about to happen in Pokemon? But I expect a rise of interest starting in September,
wow, what's happening in September?
the 30th anniversary.
Oh, what like
A
that's the time to
Pikachu in
sell.
every
It's not-
pack. I know there's not a Pikachu in it. I don't know if there's a Pikachu in every pack, but there's like 30 different Pikachus in this set. You know, a bunch of old frame cards coming back with little stamps on it. People are excited.
It feels like it's NFTs with a property that people care about. It's the reason people all made fun of NFTs is because no one wants like an AI generated ape or a pixel guy, but they do want Pokemon. And everyone acts like it's normal that Pokemon cards have so much value and this is a real financial category when it's the same thing as NFTs.
But again, back to wealth. How do we know that people have wealth and things of value? You can see it and you can show it. If we were just interested in the money, we would all just invest in stocks and we'd watch line go up. But we need to be able to show people the things that make our line move up and have them and dangle them about our chest as we go to WrestleMania or put them on a shelf in a video. You know, the physical objects prove are better proof than just an account number that went up. Also, it's gauche to show somebody your bank account, but it's really cool to show them all of your Pokemon cards.
Oh, that's such a weird thing. Yeah, like you can't be like, oh, check out all my Apple stock.
Yeah. It's just not a thing. You're like,
I
fucking
collect companies. Oh, okay, nerd.
yeah, okay, fucking. Oh, you're one of those people. Eat the rich. But you're like, I have 52 Pikachu. So like, could you put them in a binder, organize them, and then flip through that slowly so I can see each one of them, and then tell you which one my favorite is?
All right, here's my $1 million idea. We're bringing it all together.
Okay.
I think NFTs are. I think that ship has sailed and is never coming back because it's such a joke. Yeah. So we're going to have physical trading cards, but they are actual certificates of stock. And you get like a rare one and you get like a little piece of Apple stock and it has like actual market value. That's not like a market just based on what the card is worth.
This is a great idea.
And
I would
teach
totally
the kids to
buy
buy this instead of Pokemon. And like that, we make them cool. It's not like a boring black and white page. We make them cool somehow with art and stuff. Maybe a game around it, but it actually has real value as the company. Oh, this is such a good idea, guys.
Here's what we do. So we just buy in at whatever stocks are, and we just say like whatever percent it is, like a Robinhood or any of these other like stash apps where you can buy portions of stock, right? And then we just print that certificate ID onto those cards, right, with a QR code, and we make a cool card. And we could have different rarities, right? It's like one whole stock or like different financial ranges. But because the value of stocks naturally fluctuates, your pack could go up or down depending. Like this would be really fun. I would buy the hell out of these cards.
At least someone needs to make a video game based on this idea.
No,
like the TCG simulator, but with the stock TCG.
Yeah, we should do this, Tyler. A bunch of penny stocks we buy in at, like,
that would be so
my God.
So the commons are like
idea.
penny stocks and they're like long shots, and then like the rares are just like
blue chips
of Apple. Here's
we just call them like the rarity. We're like, penny blue chip. Like, we have like good categories for all this. Yeah, this is $1 million idea, Tyler.
It really is. Also, to be clear, no QR code. This isn't like, oh, you boop it and it goes into your Robinhood account. These are going to be bearer shares, meaning you own the card, you own the share. That's the only way it works. And we'll be the company that cashes them in. You can cash them in with us, and we'll take a 7% fee on you cashing in your stock.
Oh.
But it does have the real value. We will pay you the real value.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn, this is such a good business idea. Why are we not doing this?
I don't know. We should be.
We're quitting our jobs right now. We're making this thing.
Tyler, you start. I'll invest. We have people we know. We'll get them involved. We can finally be the Logan Pauls, Tyler.
Oh my God.
And the best Apple stock you can get, like a whole Apple stock, is just we have like 3 different cards, right? And it's just an apple with the bite out of it. It's like a red apple, a green apple, and then the golden apple. and a platinum apple.
Oh
And,
shit! I got a golden apple. That's 1 share of apple.
oh my God, oh my God, I got a platinum apple. Do you know how rare these are? Shit. I'm telling you.
This is a good idea.
We wouldn't call
our
it
marketing
platinum,
would
though.
write itself. Oh, your trading cards have value because people put pretend value on collectibles. Ours have real value tied to the economy.
Ours have value because they're valuable.
Oh my God. Oh, it's like the next step. Like we used to think like putting little patches of player jerseys and stuff added real value, but now we can add real financial value. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this, Johnny. Someone vibe code this right now.
You got to vibe code it. You're our vibe coder. There are people in our Discord. Get on this. Let's all be millionaires together. Anyways, part of what's happening right here. Let's talk about something else that happens with rich guys. There is a dangerous confusion between expertise and skill. So, what does that mean, Tyler? So, just because you know a lot about video games and you are kind of an expert, I would say 100%, you're an expert in video game collecting. That doesn't mean you're necessarily a skilled investor, though. Or like if you look at investment as a skill, these two things are not the same. They are not. These are mutually exclusive skills, right? You can have both, but one does not presume the other. So just because you're an expert at video game collecting does not mean you are an expert investor. But when rich people do it and they can show you that the values have gone up and the line moves up and everything, people will conflate the two things and we will think that they are skilled at investing and they are experts, and then we will believe them and our brain will take all of that in. Sometimes we will take our own expertise and be like, I know a lot about video games, so I could buy and make money in this market. So I'll go in. I know what rare variants to go buy to make a little money. I'm sure many people in our hobby have said that before. Looking at certain collectors, and then those have made no money or very little money, or like the old Nintendo age guys are like, I know the difference between all these print runs, so I could go make a little money, and then they did. So good on them. Sometimes it translates and sometimes it doesn't, but that is a thing that does happen. And when people do it in front of you and then showcase it to you, you get convinced that they are right and they're good at a thing, even if that isn't necessarily true.
I think the bigger risk is doing well in investing in collectibles and then thinking you're good at investing in collectibles. Because we haven't had a real market crash since 2008. I mean, like COVID, the world ended, but then it rebounded back like a fucking rocket ship. So I'm not even counting that. And collectibles have been, past 10 years in collectibles have been nuts, obviously. So yeah, if you've bought any Pokemon card, you bought anything. You could bought anything in the past 10 years and you think you're a genius. You want to be a genius? If you're like reselling collectible trains, if you're reselling Beanie Babies, if you're reselling stamps, if you're making money doing that, then maybe you have a knack for collecting, for like reselling and investing and collecting. If you're reselling fucking Charizards, yeah, because the Charizards have only gone up, minor corrections aside, until the big crash, you're not a genius. If you survive the big crash that will eventually come for Pokemon, and I'm not saying Pokemon is going to zero, but there will be a big correction in the market and everyone will stop caring about it like they do now. We'll stop having people stabbing each other at Target. If you get through that and you're still making money, then you can be confident that you're a genius. But you're not a genius just because you invested in a bull market. It's like too many people think that.
Did we already talk about this? Basically, it's survivorship bias. Do you know what that is?
It's the picture of the airplane with all the places that it got shot and still came back. So they armored the places that got shot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's when the winners become the stories rather than like viewing the market as a whole. So like, we were talking about little Samson, or like, again, because you bought it in a bull market, like we only show you the winner rather than the thousands and thousands of losers. Like this plane survived a missile attack. Look at it. What planes are amazing. It doesn't show you all the other planes that are just scrap heap now because they got hit by missiles. Essentially, is how that survivorship bias happens. So, anyways, and again, people who are investing in games and on those podcasts that we were talking about, they will talk about this quite a bit to infect your brain with this idea. Again, they don't want to show you the losers. They only want to show you the winners. Remember that. So don't get tricked. And then, Tyler, I got like two other things to talk about investment thinking. The minute your brain has been tricked into seeing games or your hobby as an investment, this kind of thing starts to happen or becomes more common. And it becomes, when you started collecting, we usually say everyone had this journey like nostalgia, right? I want to go buy the games I had as a kid. I just want to own the games I loved, and maybe I want nice copies of that. And it turns
I did not want nice copies for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, I said maybe it becomes that. Maybe not always, but it does move into that thing. As again, you're like, these are I would like to have the best copies. This is a thing that people usually do. But the thing that changes, like an investment mindset, you start to want the things that other people want. You're like, ooh, I want that before so-and-so gets it. Or I think people are going to want this, or people do want this, so I should go get it because it's going to go up in value. Again, you start to, you are boarding the value train rather than having stuff that became valuable. It's different. So you start to seek out the value, especially when other people are around you are establishing that things are valuable.
I hate the idea of buying something that I don't think is the best because it is the thing that will be more valuable, which is obviously a lot of the stuff I've been buying in the past 5 years is the thing I like more, but is not the thing that will have value. The $3 million Mario is the perfect example. And yes, it is one of the best things you could buy in video games, obviously. But I think the matte sticker sealed one is better. It's a complete in box matte sticker sealed Mario, but the sticker is intact. I think that is a better object than the fucking stupid second print, because second print is garbage and no one wants stupid second print. But if I was investing, I would choose the second print because I have the benefit of foresight to see that someone has paid $3 million for it. But no, because people will pay more money for that, even if I think it's the wrong thing. If I was investing in Pokemon, I would buy a Pokemon Illustrator, not Trainer number 1, even though I think Trainer number 1 is better in literally every way. Trainer number 1 is a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 4, I think. It's the first promo card. It's the first card, like the first Pokemon tournament they ever held. The winner got Trainer number 1. And then like second place got Trainer number 2, third place got Trainer number 3. And those have less value than Pikachu Illustrator, which there are like 40 of because Logan Paul didn't hype it. But if you were investing, you have to buy the hyped thing. And there's so many situations in video games where it's like, all right, I could get either, if I'm buying this game, I can get either the Japanese version or the American version. The American version will go up in price faster, but I want the Japanese version. And like all of a sudden, am I buying the version I don't want because I think it will go up in price more? And I hate making those decisions.
It happens all the time. And to bring it home a little more to video game collectors, to talk about how the hobby has kind of shifted recently, sealed games, Tyler. People will now sometimes just be like, maybe I should just buy sealed copies because that will be more valuable later. That's the better purchase than buying a CIB copy or whatever. So that's part of the change. Because you may be like, oh, I'm buying the game I want, but you're like, I'm still buying the game I want. But when you still make the decision to maybe I'll buy the sealed one because it's worth more, and that's what people will want more later, then this idea is also preying upon you. And that's a little more insidious because you didn't even realize it was happening. You thought you were buying the thing that you like, but really you started making these equations, these value equations on it as you were going along. And again,
are you trying to like subliminally talk to me directly to my face, Johnny? What is this?
No, I'm just saying.
So what if I have a lot of sealed Xbox 360 games that I never really wanted now, okay?
I'm just, look, for all the people who feel like that I might be admonishing them right now, guys, you're talking to victim number 1, okay? Like I am the thing I am talking about, and I will get into, I think, the phenomenon after this that I think is one of the biggest bases for all collecting ever, and how it has warped people, not for investing but for collecting. I am the people I'm describing. I'm not an investor, obviously, but do you think that any of these things haven't worked on me? I have been tricked by all of this as well. So just victim talking to victim over here, Tyler. Not not calling you out.
To be clear,
That's
I
all.
don't think this is a universally bad thing. I think my
No,
collection
no.
is better for the fact that I have, in recent years, bought a lot more sealed than just nice CIB, because I think that the delta between like a nice CIB and a sealed DVD game a lot of the time is very small, and it's worth just getting sealed. Just have the nicer thing.
Absolutely.
I don't want us to get into this thing where it's like, oh, the having the better thing is always bad. It makes you a stupid investor. No, sometimes having the better thing just makes your collection better.
Oh yeah, like I'm okay with people being investors in the hot. Like I have a lot of games. It's fine. This is. But I wanted to talk about how the phenomenon happened and like what the switch is. This is not necessarily a value judgment on the thing. So sorry if it sounded too judgy. I'm just saying how the thing happens. I think that was like my biggest tenets of like how a collectible becomes an investment when coming from people who are the rich podcast guys. These are the things that they will do. And this is like their behaviors will then trick you. And that's how the bottom lifts the top and not necessarily the top lifting the bottom.
All right. I don't know what else to say about these guys. I feel like I
mean, we're using them as a vessel really just to talk about how any hobby goes from being just a collectible to kind of being an investment. So it's not really so much about them. They are just people who are more financially invested in the idea of them becoming an investment because they are people who, again, put the money first and they want more money. So, and that's where I think people really take the exception is they're like, oh, this is my hobby and I love it. And you're just trying to turn it into a financial vessel. And now my hobby is too expensive for me. That's like the pushback. I don't think people are necessarily always upset that the things they own are more valuable or they bought good stuff. That's not what it is. It feels like when people are pushing for that to be the only thing that matters is the issue.
So one thing we haven't talked about, are there long-term, like I'm not talking Beanie Babies. Are there long-term collecting hobbies that have lost most of their value or
stamps?
Essentially, I don't know enough about the stamp market. I imagine stamps have not increased in price, at least with all the other things in the market. But yeah, stamps were around. People collected stamps for
coins have been a long hobby. Baseball cards have been a long hobby.
See, I don't know enough about coins again, but looking at heritage auctions, they're constantly pumping coins that sell for millions of dollars. Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah,
I think there's some level where like rich people are like, oh, I'm a rich miser, so I collect money. I want the best coins. But maybe like lower end coins have not kept up.
Yeah, well, and so I think, the wheat being separated from the chaff or the cream rising to the top, whichever analogy you want to use. I don't know if that will happen with video games like it happened with sports cards, right? All the junk wax that like went, but now they figured out how to make them collectible and make them expensive. Old cards, Honus Wagners and stuff still having increasing values. Mickey Mantle's going up. Same with Babe Ruth's. Like there are parts of it, right? So it's just like, what part of the hobby are you in? Because you might be in the absolute garbage portion of the hobby, or you might be in the the wheat portion. Are you in the wheat or the chaff, Tyler? I think that's what happens with long-term hobbies. Is like even comics, but even some man. Remember 90s comics, Tyler, and how they weren't worth anything?
So they like created a little comic bubble that popped. As far as I understand the comics market, the MCU kind of saved comic collecting as it was on the downswing. Yeah. Like comic collecting was going to be like a thing that had a clear kind of bell curve to it, maybe with a pop in the 90s with the ridiculous bullshit. And then the MCU really redrove interest into it. Am I wrong about that?
I think you're largely right about that, but even things like even the MCU wasn't saving 90s books. They were still still overprinted. But now, Tyler, even those have started to move up. So we're in an interesting place. Do you know X-Men #1 from the 90s, where they had like a 4-cover variant that was connected art. It was all X-Men #1. It had like Wolverine and Cyclops and Magneto. It was like a famous Magneto cover where like the bullets are coming at him. He's got his fist up and like stopping them. Do you know these covers?
I know these covers. Are you going to tell me that they're super valuable now?
No, they're not super valuable, but but they have been going up, especially with the announcement of this X-Men movie. The cast just announced at D23 a bunch of Marvel stuff was just all this stuff is going to be pouring into the comics hobby. Just go watch Comic Tom and you'll hear all about it. Anyways, those books went from trash books that were, because there's so many were, it was like the #1 printed book. There's even like a gold X-Men label one that's part of like the series. It's like the first one, the Wolverine and Cyclops, but it's got the X-Men is in gold rather than like filigree gold up on the, or whatever, gold leaf on the top rather than just the standard print cover. These have all started to move up. They were like $1, $2 books. Now graded copies are starting to move from like just being like less than the cost of the casing to now being more than case cost. So case cost just means like this is worth only what you paid to grade it. So basically you're paying for the cost of the case around the book. Now they're starting to be like $50, $60, $70, $80 books, which is crazy because it was like the most printed comic ever. It was a thing that traditionally had no value. The Breaking of Batman's Bat was comic that was always just a case book. Now has been going up. Just all these 90s books, as 90s nostalgia has increased, books are moving up. It's crazy.
Johnny, I want to collect comics, but they're so small and fragile they can't sit on a shelf. You basically have to store them in a box where you can't look at them unless they're graded. But like I want, again, like I grew up with 90s books and like super bullshit that's not worth anything.
Yeah, just think that the cost of the grade is just basically what you need to pay for the plastic holder. Like, just imagine that you are a person who buys acrylic cases for all of your video games. Think of comic grading like that, and then you'll be fine. Just get them.
I don't want to spend like minimum $50 per book. Like, I still want. I want to bullshit. I spent my life digging through dollar bins as a kid because I had no money.
Yeah, me too. You know what you can still get like nice bags and boards now, and you can get like a nice Mylar bag, and put a good board in there, and your book will look awesome sitting on a little shelf.
I mean, it'll look awesome on a shelf, but like we didn't talk about the hole in your collection thing yet, Johnny. But like I've always been a set collector, so I never. I have a friend who buys like nice comic books, and he has like 50 really nice comic books, and they're all cover out. I'm like long boxes full of runs, which is not the appropriate way to collect comics, but no. I always want to complete everything. I collected comics entirely wrong when I was collecting comics.
Oh, I'm still collecting comic books wrong, Tyler. I still am occasionally buying comic books. Maybe I'll tell you about some comic books I just bought later, because I still love comics. I mean, that was like, comics are really the first thing I collected. Is that true for you as well?
I think the first thing I ever collected was outside nature objects like pine cones and cool leaves, and I had them on my nightstand as a kid.
Okay.
So I started early.
Hold on, you were a kid with a nightstand?
I had a nightstand. What are you talking about?
What? God, you are a weird kid.
We had like a little table next to my bed. What are you talking about?
Okay. It's just weird to call it a nightstand.
What's a nightstand? Am I using this word wrong? I could be corrected in my English language.
I just think of nightstand as like a thing in an adult bedroom, not in a kid's bedroom. I could be wrong. Tyler, I grew up poor.
Where did you put your stuff?
Tyler, hey, you want to know where I put my stuff? So here's the thing. Remember how poor I was and how often we moved. Tyler, I had a barrel. Like a little, like it was like a cardboard shipping barrel that had like a metal bottom, and like it was like, imagine a giant paper, like toilet paper tube. It was like kind of that dimension, but larger. It was about 3 foot tall, and it had a metal top and a metal bottom.
All right, there you go. You had a nightstand.
And that's what my stuff used to go in, and I kept that because I found it out by the trash can one day, and it was gigantic. And I took it up to my room when I was like 7 years old because we were moving around so much, and I thought, okay, when we move, at least I can just dump all of my stuff back in this thing real fast, and then it won't get left behind. And like when I say move, people think, oh, you got like a moving truck and you move. And it was like we crammed all the shit we owned into a car because we were abandoning a place. So anything that didn't fit with us, or we were getting a moving truck and having to go that day, it wasn't like, oh, we just decided to move to a new neighborhood. No, we were like running, or something had happened that we had to go immediately. So yeah. I didn't have a nightstand, Tyler. Like I said, a lot of times my mattresses were on the floor.
All right. I lofted my bed so I could fit more of my video games under my bed as a kid.
Oh yeah. No, I keep like with JD's room, I'm like, man, like we're gonna get you a cool loft bed. We'll have a little desk underneath. You'll have so much space in here to do things. And he's just like, why would I want to do that when I could just hang out with you guys in the
I
spaces
was
that you
gonna
guys are in?
say, yeah. But
Yeah.
Dad, I could just be playing games with you. I could be just hanging out with you.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be anywhere we aren't. He's 7 and it's still good. Anyways, Tyler, I think we can move into the next thing I want to talk about, the base hobby. I'm not going to spend too long, but I want to talk a little bit about it. And it's called the empty slot effect, Tyler. Are you ready to hear about the empty slot effect?
It's the emptiness in my heart, isn't it?
It might be. It's the emptiness in the heart of many collectors, actually.
What is it, Johnny?
Okay, empty slot effect, or the empty slot problem. This is a common phenomenon in all of collecting. It is created by the idea of a checklist. It really hits sealed collectors. And just, we'll start out with a very basic example. You own we were talking about book collecting, so let's talk about books again. You own 20 books that you like, or we'll call it 19. You own 19
Are they comic books? Is it manga? Is it like old novels?
Whatever you like. Whatever. 19 comics. 19. No, let's call it books because comics are always in runs, and that'll fuck you up. 19 books. You like them. You have 19 books. There are 19 different authors. You just like them. Feels good to own them, right? You feel good about that?
I feel pretty good about that. It makes me feel smart because I own books.
Yeah, and they're all of your favorite books. They're not. It's not necessary. They're not a series, but man, they look good on your shelf. Everybody like looks at these books and like those are some good books. Okay, you feel good about it. You want to feel bad about it? Here's what we do. Tyler, imagine these are comic books now.
Oh,
you have 19 comics, but the series is 20 comics long. You are missing number 7. How do you feel about those same 19 books?
Well, there's 2 ways to feel about it. One is that I don't really own anything because I don't own the set. Like, what am I even doing? This makes me feel worse than not owning anything at all. Or 2, I own 18 more books than I need to because I only need to own number 1, and that really represents the whole set, right?
Right. If you are a smart comic collector, that's what you just go buy. Well, you buy whatever one's the key issue. You buy number 1 and you buy the best key. But you're right, Tyler. That is the empty slot problem or the empty slot effect. You can no longer focus on the fact that you own 19 awesome things. You are only concerned with the thing that you don't own. Number 7, it is the gap. You are focused on that. So that is the problem. This is an effect that drives collectors, and I'm going to talk a little bit through like how that preys upon us and what it does to us. I have some little bullet points I wrote up that will kind of go, but that's it at the core is that you instead of being like with your 19 cool books that are awesome and you enjoy, you're like, fuck, man, I'm missing number 8. When am I going to get number 8? I got to get number 8. These aren't even good yet. Even if number 1 is the best one and you already own that, let's say number 8 is $3 and number 1 is $300. You're still thinking about number 8. Why are you thinking about number 8? You have the best one. You have most of the value. Why is number 8 so important? It's because somebody created a checklist. Somebody told you that sets were important. And this is the idea, that humans have always been gathering things and putting them in collections. And our little autistic brains are over here being like, gotta have all of them. Let's put them in order. This is a thing that makes collectors. It's why video, like a lot of collecting became sets until it became overpriced. And then people like had to give themselves a new thing to focus on, the money, and like, oh, this is the important one. Thank God someone made this the important one so my brain can forgive me for not owning all of them. This is before that happens. This is the empty slot, where you are focused on that number 8 and you are no longer enjoying those. Completion is now the reward, Tyler. If you don't complete that set, you will have no reward. So hell or high water, you're thinking about number 8 and you're like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be this run of 20 sequential things. Like if you own 600 NES games, most people don't think, oh shit, I own 600 NES games, I'm awesome. They think, oh man, I'm still 100 away from the ones to having all the ones I want. And it doesn't even have to be like a complete collection of like
Yeah.
a defined thing. Not that really the NES list is a defined thing, but it could be, oh, I'm not a real video game collector until I own a Super Mario Brothers, and then you get that, and you're like, oh well, if I was a real video game collector, I would also own a Sonic the Hedgehog, and then you start
Yeah.
thinking of like, oh well, every real video game collector needs to own a God of War, and it just becomes this endless list of things you feel like you don't have.
Well, you've hit on a very big part of it. So it's easy to give you the comic book example and checklist example but the fucking collector brain is insidious and horrible, and it naturally starts putting things into sets that don't even actually exist. It just starts being like, again, I'm a real video game collector. Using your example, I'm not a real video game collector until I own this. Okay, you give yourself an example. I need to open a Super Mario, a Metroid, and a Zelda, and then I'm a real NES collector. And then here's what your brain does after you get those. You're like, well, a real NES collector would also have a Castlevania and a Contra. And you just keep going. Your brain will create the little lists for you and start making the empty. You will create your own empty slots. It's fucking ridiculous, but that's what we do.
Well, Johnny, I don't have every Zelda game yet, so I mean, I guess I should get every Zelda game.
No.
And then
here's what we did. You have Zelda. Oh my God. What are you doing with that oval seal, you fucking idiot?
Oh, well.
Okay. I have a circle seal now. Oh my God. You don't have a first print. What are you doing? Empty slot. Hey, welcome to collecting.
You didn't find the earliest date code that people are searching for on Video Game Sage? That people have found some really early Super Mario Brothers date codes that make me really jealous.
This is the empty slot problem. This is the effect that happens and how we created ourselves. And that's why I said it's the basis for fucking collecting. And we have never named it on the show before, but I was like, oh man, why haven't we talked about this? We've talked about this effect in general. Like people know how this works, but it is a real effect that people pay into. So you have outsiders outside of the hobby looking at you when you're empty slot. Like we'll go back to the comic example, and they're like, you're like, yeah, I need to get number 7 so my collection is complete. Okay. How much is it? It's like $70. So like, it's a bad cover. No one cares about that one. Why are you going to go waste $70? Because I have to have the set. You as the collector aren't going, it's a bad copy. You're not evaluating it on that. You're like, this is the thing that prevents me from having the complete set. This is the thing that prevents my brain from doing the thing and enjoying the stuff. So I have to do that. Now, what other things happen? What are offshoot problems that happen because of the empty slot? Tyler, reproductions, limited run games, pirate copies, buying worse copies. We are so incentivized by the empty slot phenomenon, we start creating bad solutions to help alleviate the mental stress that it causes us. So, stadium events. How many of my guys out there are like, oh man, I got 676, not 677. Ugh. And then they went and bought like a reproduction stadium events. Gross.
You don't need to. You got world-class track meet. You're good.
Yeah. But even saying that, what that does is it gives the brain the opportunity to fill the slot. So all these behaviors, if you start thinking about all the behaviors as just an ability and an excuse to let our brain off the hook and say the slot is filled. I have filled the slot. I can move on to the next thing. That's all we're trying to do.
The next slot you're worried about.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's the thing we don't realize that happens is that there's not one empty slot. There's multiple empty slots, and our brain, the minute we think it's over, our brain will create a new one for us if we let it.
It's empty slots all the way down.
Pretty much.
Once you have the cool NES games, you realize you don't have all the Zelda games. And you buy every single American Zelda game, and you're like, oh, well, I don't have all the Japanese Zelda games.
Yeah. So like I said, it's the basis for collecting. This is how it happens. This is the thing that's doing it to you. Yeah, empty slot was also my nickname in college. I don't know if you know that. But yeah, it's true. So we create placeholders, right? I bought a PAL copy of Stadium Events because it fills the hole. Do you want an example of how I've been able to justify a PAL copy? Like I've given people a pathway to justify owning a PAL copy of Stadium Events.
I'm getting the worldwide set.
There you go, Tyler. I'm getting the world set. I only need one copy
I'm
of
actually
each.
a better collector than you because my
Yes.
set's even more expansive.
Yes, Tyler, you found it. Good job. That is the thing that people can do. We've talked about it on the show.
No, you're fucking not. Come into our Discord and talk to like Nick and Caldius. Those are worldwide collectors buying the most obscure Brazilian and Korean shit you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're getting stuff that's rarer than stadium events.
So here's part of the thing about collecting that we don't talk about a lot is that people's ideas are limited by their knowledge. And we're not all very knowledgeable, and information is sometimes hard to get. And we ignore a lot of the things we don't know. Let's talk about Korea again for a second. How much do you know about Korean collecting? And we probably know more than a lot of people. But how much stuff happened in Korea that we just don't know about? Too much, so we just ignore it and pretend like there's only 3 regions, right, Tyler? We only have North American, PAL, and Japanese. What happened in China?
NTSC, PAL, and Japanese, because we use the video standards for North America and Europe, and then we ignore the fact that Japan also used NTSC and pretend they're a different thing.
NTSC-J, okay? It's NTSC-J, okay? Tyler, don't be an idiot. Anyways, it's stupid. Every time one of them people shortcut PAL to Europe, and PAL is not European. PAL was in the Middle East. It was in Africa. Again, video standards is a horrible thing to call things. But anyways, this is what we do.
Video standards that we haven't used in 20 years.
Right. And also never applied to portables because portables always have their own video screen on them and aren't part of any standard.
I'm sure they're part of some standard.
They have their own screen. It doesn't matter. Like a GBA has the same screen in Europe and in America. So that doesn't matter. The standard doesn't matter. You take a European GBA game, unless they put like a weird region lock on it specifically, but it's not the video thing.
It's a standard across the whole world then.
Sure. It's a world standard. That's why you need every single GBA game. Don't worry. You're looking at the shape of the Nintendo seal on your box to dictate your collecting. But again, that's just because you're ignoring what you don't know. You've got a big empty slot and it's called Europe. Get there.
No, I'm never going there. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, part of what happens too with the empty slot, God, I'm going to say this word wrong. Zygarnik effect. I think it's the Zygarnik effect.
Wow. Oh, look at someone who's reading their books and not just collecting them.
Yeah. Sorry. I've been so long since I've heard this fucking word, and I don't know if I think I've only read it. I don't know if I even have heard it. Anyways, it doesn't matter what it's called. It's this idea that the unfinished task is the most accessible thing in your brain. So, once you complete something, your brain offloads it, right? You're like, I did that, it's done. So the thing that has prominence in our mind is the thing that's not fulfilled. So, especially with collectors, you have this effect working on you. So the empty slot effect combined with this, you're like, okay, I can only focus on the thing I'm missing, especially because I've offloaded all the complete one. So this is part of it that goes into it. So you've got this working on you, the empty slot effect. These are working in tandem to make you hyper focus and spend money on something that probably doesn't matter just so you can complete a set. And it leads us to saying things like complete North American NES set or complete US Saturn
North
set,
America, you got like, are there like Mexican and Canadian games you got in there that?
Yeah. So,
I think something that feels related to this is the idea that if you ask people like how much money they need so they could be happy, or maybe it was like income, they'll always basically say twice as much as they have now. They're like, oh yeah, I'll be happy if I just had twice as much as I have now. And so the person who's making like 40 grand says, oh yeah, 80 grand, I would be rich. And the person making 80 grand is like, oh yeah, 100,000, 160,000, I would be rich. And I think the same thing when you're collecting, like, when I was working on my Sega CD set, which was like the first thing I was ever working on, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll just be happy once I'm finally done with this Sega CD set. And then, it spiraled off into everything and none of us are ever happy.
What you're not realizing is that you have a mental disorder that you've been that you've been proliferating through the act of collecting rather than working on yourself.
Gotta just hit the
So-
gym. Sell your video games and hit the gym.
What is it that psychologists say about the gym? It doesn't matter because I'm not listening to them. I'm a fat guy. But they said if more people went to the gym, that half of psychologists and psychiatrists would be out of business.
Oh man, I gotta hit the gym.
Yeah. So another thing that happens when these things and the empty slot effect becomes too prominent, you start to become more loss adverse and you start flipping your perspective, changing it. So you no longer talk about how many games you own in a set. You start talking about how many you're missing. So when your language changes, you're like, I'm still missing one. I've got almost the whole set. I'm missing two. The missing thing, again, the language is missing, absent, don't have, still need. That becomes the prominent way that you view your collection rather than, I have all this stuff. I have so many good things. It's all about the empty slot.
You're calling out Retro Bash, who joined our Discord, and he's on like the very tail end of NES. He's down to like a dozen or two, I think.
It's not him, it's all of us. We
I
all talk like this. If this sounds familiar, if it sounds like I'm just saying things I've said before, it's because I have. Tyler, we've all done this. This is just how it works.
It is funny because you always start out being like, oh yeah, I've got 100 games in this set. I've got 200 games in this set. And then at some point you're like, all right, it's only 75 left. There's only 45 left.
Sunk cost strength is, or sunk cost is very strong in this effect because we spend years doing this. You've spent 20 years and $20,000 assembling a collection, right? But you only made it to like, let's say 99 out of 100. And the last one is $1,000 and it's in really bad condition. If you were starting right now, this collection, like this isn't you 20 years ago. If you were like, had none of this collection, you were starting right now and somebody showed you that one missing item, your number, the one that would represent 100. And they showed you this terrible condition game. It's absolutely beat. Let's say it's got black mold on it. The thing we tell you to absolutely stay away from. You say, would you spend $1,000 on this? And if you were starting from this point right now, or you invited a friend over, they would just look at you like you were a fucking insane person and say, absolutely no, there's no way I would do that. However, if you've spent the last 20 years doing it, and this is the last thing you need, you will start to consider it. Because this is not one decision in front of you. You have 99 previous decisions, and that's where the sunk cost comes in. You're like, I have made so many decisions to get me to this point. If I don't make this decision now, I will not fill this empty slot, or I might have to wait. And the waiting causes mental harm. You feel bad and worse about your stuff that you're supposed to be spending your money on because you enjoy it, because you don't own it. So you will start to make suboptimal decisions. And again, sunk cost says we've spent so much time, we've spent so much effort, we've spent so much money. Can we just do this thing and be done with it? Can we just spend $1,000? We have the phrase buy once, cry once to reinforce this as an idea. So anyways, sunk cost also intermixing in our empty slot phenomenon. Another thing that happens here, these are all the things that kind of dovetail into it or spiral off of it. Collection identity. When your collection is your identity, imagine you're a YouTuber and your whole journey is, I'm collecting every single NES game. Come with me, guys, as I try to complete my journey. You've all seen that fucking YouTuber. I don't know who he is, but they're obnoxious. But some people get invested in the journey. And imagine that becomes your identity. I'm the so-and-so guy. I named myself the NES man or whatever. And now how do you not complete the NES set when you're staring at stadium events? You will start to make mental justifications, even if it's a bad financial decision, because there's this one giant empty slot in front of you. You'll start to be like, but I'm the NES guy. This is my identity. This is who I am. This reinforces the idea that I need to fill this empty slot, because if I don't, then who am I and what have I been doing this whole time? And you will start to question yourself. And that is very painful when you start to question your own identity, and then you get lost and you're like, I don't want to do that. I would do anything not to do that. So you will make choices like that to go ahead and justify your identity and justify the purchase of and fill an empty slot. But that's really the empty slot effect, just sliding into all these other things, just affecting your decisions and making you make suboptimal decisions. Again, this is the insidious design of the checklist. We've all said, yeah, I've just done it. I'm just doing it to check this box. I'm a checklist collector. Well, it's not even necessarily a bad thing that people refer to themselves as. It's like, I just got to check that box. Just got to check that box, because checklists might be the worst thing that ever happened to a collector ever in life.
It's funny, all the sets, card sets come with like checklist cards, and you'll find like a trading card magazine or a comic magazine that has a checklist of like comics. And that's not the way you should be collecting. You should be collecting like individual cool stuff that you want to own, not all the shit.
Yeah. This effect, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm also lucky that I kind of branded myself as a generalist collector pretty early on. And I've gone through phases where like I was the Xbox guy for a while. I was the NES homebrew guy for a while. And like when I got interested in something else, there was a period where it was hard for me to break away and be like, okay, if I want to get interested in Famicom rarities now, like I will have to stop spending money on NES homebrew, because I cannot do both things at the same time. And it is hard to break away and be like, all right, well, all of a sudden I'm not going to be talking about new NES homebrew releases in the forums with people. I'm not going to be posting about this. I'm not going to be making YouTube videos about this. This is like a change in everything I'm doing right now. And it is hard to break away from the identities that we build for ourselves.
Yeah. And again, as I've gone through this, it's like I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of collecting. I've never tried to brand myself as one thing. Like I always say, I'm just a guy who likes games. Be like, oh yeah, you like NES? Like I love Super Nintendo, but I'm never trying to stand on, I'm only a Super Nintendo guy. I try to keep it more general than that. I like my nerdy hobbies. I like my nerdy stuff. But I don't ever want to be branded as one thing. And a part of that is I'm adverse to the idea of of all the things I already know that prey upon me, hurting me even further, giving them the power to do that to me. So. I'm with you on that. It is hard to break away though when you've been working on a set, like just changing your mind after, or stopping a set. Like, man, Tyler, a set you were in the middle of and just decide, you know what, I'm not going to do that. It is very hard to break away from, because you have so many empty slots, and it
fixes all your empty slots. Giving up fixes your empty slots. What do you mean? It's the best.
That's counterintuitive though to what has been going on in your existence.
Hey, do you have a PSP set, Johnny?
I don't.
Give up. Give up now.
I'm not trying for a PSP set. You know, the first set I gave up on, like just 100%, I gave up on Game Gear. I was just like, I'm not doing this. I don't like it enough. I don't actually care. The pain of not owning them is actually not so great. I don't care. I'm just not doing this. I hate these boxes. I hate this set. I'm not going to do it.
I'm proud of you, Johnny.
Thanks
for recognizing that your life needs to change.
Look, it didn't get any better. I just started filling the different slots instead, Tyler. There's still so many empty slots. A thing to remember about the empty slot is an empty slot doesn't exist until you've created a category, until you've created a list, until you've created that thing that allows there to be a hole there. It doesn't actually exist. So try to stay away from those kinds of behaviors. Here's another fucking thing. Every app does this to you. Things that are tricking you right now. And I just want to tell you about percentage complete. Oh my God. Every time it's set, like you put into an app and it says what your percent to completion is. Oh God. You were just like looking at that not being 100% and you're just like dying at when you see percentage points. Percentage points are a very powerful tool because sometimes you can be like, the number is so big, but you're like, oh God, percentage complete sometimes hurts a little worse. People really have strong feelings when they see something sitting around 90% and they want it to be 100. It really influences them.
But it
It,
doesn't
like,
it doesn't make sense when it's just like when you're building a collecting set. Let's say you're building like a loose NES set. Like half of that is stadium events, so your
yeah,
99% complete is really just 50% complete.
yes. Oh, and that's the power of the percentage because it doesn't. I mean, we've talked about that. Like, that's not a real number. The how much you have to spend left is a better calibration for your collecting. And remember, if games are getting more expensive and you are doing the thing that helping this become a more investment based hobby, then that number as you collect is going to be going up. So the more you collect, the more expensive it gets because you are making the hobby stronger and then therefore making your next game more expensive. You're doing it to yourself. Stop hitting yourself, I think is what they call this phenomenon. Yeah, we talked about you start making bad decisions. Quality becomes less important to you. Some rather like, because you should like try to collect nice things, good things. Instead, you will let your quality standards slip a lot of times. If you find yourself doing that, maybe you need to reevaluate what's happening to you. If you've gone too far down the rabbit hole, so to speak, on this. These things can overpower your normal standards. The minute you find yourself doing that, you're like, when you look at a really sun faded copy and you're like, yeah, maybe, then that's a problem. You should always have a quality.
Johnny, I have so many sets and things I'm working on, and I've never looked at something with like mold or sun fading and be like, oh yeah, I'll finally consider this after however many years I've been looking for this. Like I have a bunch of stuff that it's been years I've been looking for any copy of it, but like if it's missing a manual, even I'll just be like, well, I'm never gonna find the manual. Like it might as well be non-existent if it has like some terrible thing.
Sure, but you've bought games without manuals that you can think you can buy later. You're like, I'll buy this one in worse condition. I will piece these two together. I'll go buy another copy. People make, again, sometimes these are good financial decisions if you know you're going to do it anyways, to get the best copy. But sometimes this is just psychological fulfillment to get around the empty slot problem. So you're like, this one's missing a manual, but I can always buy a manual later, says Johnny, who's done this a million times. You can, that's a thing that happens. Like your quality, like it doesn't matter what I select. Sun fading may, for you and I both, sun fading is never an option. It's gross. We think it's like the worst damage you can have to a game. It's the most insidious because your game can look completely nice compared, like everything can be beautiful, but then the sun fading just fucking totally kills it. It's why it's the worst. You're just like, God damn it. Everything about this is perfect. What fucking idiot left this in the sun? I want to punch them.
I don't even, I see it and like my brain immediately turns off. I don't even like consider it. Yeah. It's a non-game to me. No, I don't say like, wow, it's so good except the sun fading. I'm like, wow.
No. My brain is mad because I'm like, I was going to fill this empty slot and then I looked at this thing and it's sun faded and now I'm mad because you've basically, put your finger in my wound and like rubbed it around a little bit. I'm like, why are you making me feel these things? I don't like it. So here's another way to know that if the empty slot effect is hurting you too much. Tyler, you ever go to a convention or a video game store and you are missing a game, right? We'll call it, again, you're missing like a $5 game and you find it and you were so excited and it's like a $5 game and you just walked past like maybe 30 or 40 really cool games that or maybe even bought like $100 game that is objectively cooler that you pretty much like more, but your excitement is higher because this $5 game is filling a hole, then you might have a problem. Like you've objectively have bought better things through the day, but buying this one $5 thing because it fills the hole was more important. Like that became the greatest dopamine reward, and why you feel so excited about it is because you completed an empty slot rather than you bought a good thing.
Okay, so what should I do? So I do feel that dopamine, Johnny. Should I hit the gym?
Yes, you should hit the gym.
All
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's probably the solution. If you just like constantly are on eBay buying stuff to fill the slots, like you need a better hobby to fill your time than buying all the stuff. Dude, do the buying stuff on weekends. Weekdays hit the gym.
Tower, this is the phenomenon behind game collecting and checklists and why they're terrible. It's why having a terrible copy feels better than having no copy. It's why buying a placeholder feels fine. It's how Limited Run can sell a copy of Little Samson to the world, and people are like, "Yeah, I finally got fucking Little Samson. Feel good about it." You know, it's. I don't know how they can then sell a $60 game that's still a $60 game that anyone could just go buy, but that still happens. It's how people spend irrationally. It's how you will spend $1,000 on a game that's missing a manual or not at your quality standards. You will do a lot of dumb things. It's why you might think a reproduction is even better or like fine sometimes, because it's better than not owning a thing. You will just start making loopholes and things that are okay. The minute you start having a decision chain that involves a bunch of bad justifications to alleviate this, then you are deep into the empty slot phenomenon. And bad news, guys, databases make this worse. Checklists make this worse. Percentage points make this worse. Being influenced by bringing it back to people who are bringing this into investment, these all make it worse because then they start to tell you different conditions, quality, and variance are the best ones. So then you start to consider your collection as less than because they've helped create an empty slot for you. All these things, you are not really collecting the things you are enjoying. You are collecting the things you have been influenced by, or you're collecting the thing that you had to complete a checklist. Anyways, something to think about, something to evaluate yourself on when you are out there in the wild collecting games. Just ask yourself, if it's missing, if you actually need it, if you could buy anything to represent it. Does that feel good because you have something there, or is that just, are you being tricked? Owning it is still the most legitimate, but that may have satisfied you, but why did it satisfy you? Did it satisfy you because you wanted that, or did you satisfy yourself because you filled a hole rather than buying something that was actually good? That's what I have to say about psychology and how it all ties together. Tyler, that is the meat of our show. I think we can move on unless you have other feelings or thoughts, but that's what I want to talk about today.
I mean, I'd say that the most placeholder thing in my collection is I think the worst known Matt Sticker sealed Super Mario Brothers complete in box. It's someone shot it with a BB gun or poked it with a pencil multiple times. It has a lot of character. But the stress that I was feeling every time, not only like when one came up, like if I was going to win the auction, but also just constantly searching multiple like different areas to find one, was so high before I had one. And even though I have the worst one, I feel so much better. Like one day a decent Super Mario Brothers might come up and I might upgrade it, and that will be fine. But the fact that it's already just sitting there and I know that it's just an upgrade problem, it's not an ownership problem, it makes me feel 100 times better. And I'm not saying I'd want to own a reproduction or one that's moldy or like sun faded or things like that are complete deal breakers, but filling that slot it's a big impact. And then the next one comes up, I won't overbid for it. I can just wait for them to come up and kind of like take my time. And when one comes up at a price I'm willing to pay, I'll just win it and it won't be like a big deal anymore. Because the big deal was just getting one and getting that weight off me.
Look, dude, we're talking about, I'm like, I was not joking when I was like, let's talk about that Charmander Zelda. It might be fake, but the minute you said maybe it wasn't, I was like, maybe I could fill a slot then. Okay, here we go. What can I do here, guys? And also, who the fuck's going to know it's fake? Like, if you're not telling them it's fake, then who would even know? Just, again, you hear that kind of justification I could just create right there? No thanks.
I mean,
that's the empty slot.
That's a whole nother effect. There's a movie about that called There Are No Fakes, about not forged art. It's basically fake art made in the style of someone and then sold as if as that person made it. So it's technically real art, but it's like completely ripped off.
Yeah.
And the idea of it is that if the buyer doesn't know and they're happy with what they bought, there are no fakes.
Yeah. And people, again, the reproduction principles. Sometimes people make pirates. This is strong. That would have been a good one to include in our thing that happens. Anyways, that's what I got, Tyler. Yeah. I again, this is not me preaching at you guys. I'm sorry if it sounds preachy. I'm just sharing you my whole experience and how I've gotten it wrong for over 2 decades of collecting.
Johnny, Final Fight CD asks, is collect maxing a thing? And if it isn't, should it be? Us old men are definitely the appropriate people to answer whatever this question's supposed to mean.
Well, it's like the idea of looks maxing or anything maxing that is happening with the kids today. Are you familiar with this phraseology?
So it doesn't mean collecting everything and being a hoarder. It would mean like meticulously improving and curating the best possible collection, because then that should be a thing.
I think it could mean either. And again, my question then, maxing though is hard, is hard code and embedded into influencer sphere, right? So that would mean that we would have to be doing things that were established by others and not the things that were making us happy.
I think there is room for a collect maxing influencer that's just a guy who gets out there on YouTube and every video is just him convincing you to sell the garbage you don't care about anymore, sell the low condition stuff, and buy the stuff you actually want. Stop being influenced by what you're seeing on Instagram. Just go and buy the cool stuff that you think is cool and keep it all on one Billy bookcase. That's what our collect maxer influencer is going to do.
The conundrum there is don't be influenced by guy influencing.
But he's not influencing you to buy certain things. He's influencing you to be the best collector that you could possibly be.
But in general, you and I would both say, try not to be influenced by others as we fucking host a podcast and talk about shit. But also then creating this fictional influencer who would then be influencing people.
Man, at some point, it's human sociology. We all got to talk to each other and communicate.
We do. And we all want to be part of a group, Tyler. That's part of it. Like, and again, like we can't criticize anything. You can't criticize people for wanting to be part of a group and then be like, well, you can't ever be a part of a group because groupthink happens. Like that, you can't punish people that way. People need people and it's okay. These are just the things that happen. It's just about knowing what can happen, not saying to completely avoid or never do these things.
Johnny Clearvis asks, since you're both dirty resellers, what's the best you ever did with something you resold? Let's be real. This is for Johnny since Tyler never sells anything.
Tyler sells so much more than I do. Where does this idea come from?
Well, I used to not sell anything, but lately I've been selling a lot more.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Like if I buy a lot of games to get something and I've had something in there that was valuable, it's like, yeah, I mean, I've done okay in these senses. On some things, but I don't sell very often. Like if we went to my eBay right now, I'll just do it. Well, let me go to a place where I resell. I sold a couple of manuals recently from like my manual videos. Let's see. Selling. Tyler, I'm going to look at my selling account. Okay. Listings in the last 90 days. Created last 90 days. None. Last 180 days, none. Last year, none. Tyler, I haven't sold anything on eBay in like 5 years.
All right. Well, Johnny, I've got an answer for this then.
Okay.
The thing that comes to mind most is my first thing that I ever not really resold, but sold for a big profit. I was browsing just eBay, refreshing new listings, because that used to be a thing that was worth doing. And I got an NES M82 demo unit for $500. Buy it now. And then I went on like DigitPress and started bragging about this and how I'm the greatest person ever, because I was like a teenager and it was the first thing that was like, it felt like a real serious thing in my collection compared to all the stupid like stuff I was getting at Goodwill and whatever. And then I ended up, I forgot why I sold it. It's probably because I was in college and I couldn't deal with lugging this thing around anymore. And I sold for like $1,500, I think. And it was at a time where like $1,000 in my life meant so much money. I had like a minimum. I worked at Burger King. Yeah, I say that a lot. So $1,000 was a shitload, and I almost definitely blew all those profits buying things like 2D shooters on like Saturn imports and PC Engine, because back in the day, the thing that made you cool was 2D shooters. That was a cool genre to own, kids. Let me tell you, before you and your RPGs and your First Prince, we had cool games like Nexer and Hyper Duel and Radiant Silvergun. And that made you cool, let me tell you.
Tyler was buying things that other people thought were cool, not things he necessarily wanted. He tricked himself.
Very true.
Yeah, see? Hey, Psychology, welcome back. I just sold some Magic cards. Do you know what Mox Opal is, Tyler?
It's a bullshit card that's not even a real Mox.
It's a real Mox. Basically, this is just a card from Magic the Gathering that wasn't very expensive, but for some reason I own like 6 of them, and I don't need all of my Magic cards. So I had 4 that they became like $250. So I just walked into the shop and was like, please give me credit for these, because I'm going to just be buying stuff anyways. Like, can you translate this into $1,000 for me? And they did.
Wait, so Secret Lair stuff has value? Why is the Secret Lair like $400?
Because it's the best one.
Oh my god.
It's the rarest one.
But you just bought it, didn't it? Wasn't it just like you just like spent $75 or whatever and just got one?
Well, that one I think was part of a very specific drop that was like $100 to get, but it had a bunch of other stuff. It was all Dan Fraser art. No one cares about that. Anyways, that was more exclusive. Also, Secret Lairs, most of them are... The Secret Lairs have gone through 2 different iterations, a print to demand, and we printed this many, buy them until once they're gone, they're gone. Either way, they are a limited time commodity. So then the limited print run nature of them and the FOMO that next gives them more value later until the bottom falls out. But Secret Lairs have done okay, a lot of them.
All right. Part of the reason I don't know who cares about Magic. Something that got me kind of out on collecting Magic is that I always liked, I didn't always like it, but as an adult, when I collected Magic in kind of my second wave of collecting, I wanted all the foil stuff.
Yeah. And
then you can't really play with foils because your deck becomes so unwieldy and they curl and it's just a nightmare. And so like the best, most expensive collectible thing is the foil thing. And I feel like they're completely unplayable, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, turns out that's just an issue with humidity, and you can straighten those bad boys out if you want to.
Yeah, that's what the internet says. And then I have a t-shirt press and all this stupid bullshit.
Do you have a $100 t-shirt press?
Oh, I
that you got from Amazon? Man, yeah, I'm gonna buy one of those. Do you straighten out all these old comics?
Let me send you mine. I got the little pieces of metal to go with it, and like the wax paper.
Oh man, send me all. Yeah, I will buy that from you. If you want to send it to me, I'll buy it.
Send it to you. This is. Let's take this offline. I need to get like shit out of my house, Johnny. I'm not pressing comic books anymore, so let me send you my fucking press.
Please do, because I want to press all my childhood books. It is so heavy,
but I'll figure out a box. I'll find a way.
UPS probably is the way to go with that.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'll totally buy that because I was going to buy one.
Okay, don't buy one. Take mine.
I will.
Spooky Spectre 1 HD remake. Because y'all ding dong skipped it the first time. I'm sorry if I skipped your question. You just put your question in again if I skipped it, because I'm not very good at tracking which ones I did. Or I might have skipped it because it was really dumb. Let's find out. A spooky specter appears in front of you in your game room. Every game with the letter Q in the title. Every game with the letter Q in the title created until this moment will disappear from this world when I do my spooky dance, says the specter. He dances, and Qbert, EverQuest, Quake, and all the others vaporize in front of your eyes. It's not just your room, it's throughout the world. So spooky, says the specter. And now you must choose which letter will be next. There are only 25 choices in the English alphabet from which you must choose. Also note, the game isn't erased from people's memories or history, just erased from this point forward. No one can play or own it again. It's more spooky that way. Which letter do you choose? I don't know.
S.
S.
Fuck everybody. Fuck you all. I'm killing it all.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Just
get rid of most things. Yeah, fuck everything. I will
burn this fucking house down. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, guys. I will go straight up free.
No, we gotta
free.
we gotta pick a letter
free letters.
in Pokemon.
Yeah. No. S, man. Every super anything ever, or like just N.
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean, some
relay
things have plural words. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
S is gonna get rid of it.
S.
That would be very spooky. And we get to Quake's already gone though. We
Yeah.
get to keep Doom.
Every Super Mario is gone.
All right, if
The
we
best
did
collectible.
so here's the investment play.
Yeah.
If we know this is happening, we would figure out all the best games that don't have S, because all of a sudden, Legend of Zelda stays around.
Yeah. Zelda stays.
But Super Mario Brothers is gone.
But not every Legend of
I
Zelda.
think this increases the prominence of Doom as a collectible.
Yeah. Skyward Sword dead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Skyward Sword. Seasons game's gone.
Ultima, we're good. Wizardry, we're good. Guys, we are still in business.
But anything that has a sequel is pretty much gone.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think we should go Scorched Earth and pick S.
Yeah.
Fuck. There's too many things. Like, God, we have all these empty slots. Let's fix some of that. All right, Johnny, who won collecting this week? It's definitely Joe. I don't know what Joe is going on about, but he's been posting like the most incredible stuff. Is he getting like multiple boxes of good stuff? Is this all from Josh Byerly? What's going on?
He bought I don't know. He bought a lot of different stuff. He bought a bunch of Sachin stuff.
He bought a full Sachin set except for Papillon Gals from Josh Byerly. And then he bought a sealed Super Mario Brothers, an oval seal, so it's worthless, and Tyler thinks it sucks. But hey, it's still Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
It fills the slot.
But you know how I feel about Sachin stuff, right?
I mean, I think everyone feels that way about Sachin stuff.
Yeah, I don't care about Sachin stuff.
Except for me and Josh and Joe.
Yeah, he also showed off like a sealed Super Mario, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if there was like two NWCs. I don't know if they're his or he was showing them off.
He was talking with Nick about Nintendo World Championships.
I'm like, I don't know.
Nick,
that's him.
Collector who has both Nintendo World Championships.
But I'm gonna say Tiger Wolf wins collecting with a sealed Wii U Hyrule Warriors, a 9.2. And Peaceful with a Sweet Home, because we're getting close to spooky season.
I'll disagree.
Yeah. Sorry there, Joe. I don't care about Sachin.
He's got two. It's not just a Sachin set. He's got all these color variants. He's got all 4 color variants of Huge Insect.
Oh, God. Not the color variants of Huge Insect.
Yeah, he's got multiple Hellfighters.
Oh, my God. Multiple copies. Tell me less.
Guys, if you don't know, Sachin is the most obscure, probably English language 72-pin NES games.
That was not released actually in the U.S. It was.
Were they released in the U.S.?
No,
probably not most of these.
I don't think so.
Released is a funny word, actually.
Yeah. Sent to. Oh, good.
Next, tune in next week. We're gonna have a conversation on the topic of what does released really mean.
Yeah. I think we've done that. Like we get into the real nitty gritty of that stuff, but we always could. Anyways, Tyler, you buy or play anything?
I said that I got my Dracula version 2 in the mail, right?
Yeah, you did.
I think I bought one more thing. Hold on. Yeah, so last episode we did the trading card thing, and I found Deck Demon, which there are a few Magic the Gathering pieces of software from like the early 90s, before Hasbro ever made like Chandelar and those very early Magic the Gathering games. I think the earliest Magic the Gathering thing is that Screensaver set that I was talking about. Someone bought that, by the way, in that episode. But there were earlier pieces of software that were mail order only. All of them seem very obscure. The least obscure of these is Deck Demon. And there's a physical copy of it. I don't know. There must be physical copies of the other ones, because this stuff was mail order, so they have to have at least like floppies around. But it's one of the earliest Magic the Gathering deck building software. I don't know. I think it's cool. Like,
nice.
who has this?
Pretty cool.
It was sold by
I like it.
Treasure Trove 612. I mean, that must be AJ Scaramucci, right?
100%. Yeah.
He's selling these $100 Magic the Gathering things that people definitely know about. And then, Johnny, I won Sonic the Hedgehog 1997 trading card. Cool kids know it's not okay to fight, or whatever that card is.
Yeah.
It's not right to fight, which goes in Sonic Jam, which I won for $6 because you took your bid off. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The Beastie Boys told me I have to fight for my rights, so I don't know. Maybe it is right.
You
to
didn't fight me. That's it. Did I play anything? I don't know. I haven't been playing games, Johnny. 3 weeks. I don't think I played anything.
Really? That's like
I've
a pretty long.
Been so busy at work and weddings and all this stuff.
Yeah, same.
I beat Jagged Alliance 3. We might be playing Jagged Alliance 3 again. That's how much we enjoyed Jagged Alliance 3.
You must have really enjoyed it. I have not played anything. I again, we were super busy, and then there was like the Magic release of The Hobbit, so that's like what I went and did. I played a lot of The Hobbit. Did I say that I got the Duke Nukem with the hint card in it? The little phone card?
I have no idea, but you did now.
Yep, so I bought that. I bought a Japanese copy of Biohazard Outbreak because I think it has a better cover than the US one. I got Dracula 3, The Path of the Dragon on PC, but Tyler, I got the special one. You know, it has a sticker on it, and it says Walmart exclusive. Package includes Dracula Resurrection and The Last Sanctuary, packed right into the box.
No way.
So that's really all 3 games.
I've never even heard of that version of Dracula 3, The Path of the Dragon.
I know. Pretty cool, huh?
Famous 2008 point-and-click adventure developed in Eastern Europe.
You know who loves a point-and-click and a Halloween thing? It's this guy over here. This is a DVD short box game.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's French. It's not Eastern European. Yeah, the French Dracula game. Awesome. Yeah, I love this one.
Yep. You've seen these like, I think Dracula Last Sanctuary and stuff were on the PS1.
I'm reading the plot to Dracula 3, and it's talking about Nazis. It's talking about someone working on Mein Kampf. What did I misread? Dracula? What is the sequel to Dracula about?
I don't know. Keep reading.
It's just about like religious Catholic diocese, and I don't know, man. It seems like it turns into Nazis and underground labyrinths.
Who can say? Who can say, really? Anyways, I bought that. Like I said, didn't play much. I bought some comics. I'm not going to list the comics I bought here. But yeah, that's what I spent my money on. And we are right at the time, Tyler, where I will be. It's just going to be like confirming all of my Halloween stuff. I did some Halloween orders for modern stuff. Just wasting money left and right on modern Halloween games. How many PS5 games qualify on my list? So many.
I hope none. Oh, no.
So many. So that's what I got, Tyler. I think that's the show, unless you have anything you want to go on about.
That's it. Sure? I got to start my day now that it's 5 p.m. and this was the morning show.
Well, I mean, you woke up late. I was here.
It is my fault.
That's it for the show, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for giving us a listen, and thanks to everyone on the Patreon who supports us. If you wish to do that, you can go to patreon.com/collectorsquest, and you can join, and that gives you access to our Discord to talk with all the best collectors. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. That's it for the show. Bye.